And even more throughout the state are still holding on to guns they shouldn't. Cook County Sheriff Tom Dart yesterday saying he's calling on Springfield lawmakers to step in.
Tragedies already have occurred with this because people have not gone and gotten the guns out of houses.
The Illinois State Rifle Association agrees that guns need to be removed from dangerous hands, but law enforcement databases have hundreds of inaccurate entries after cases were dropped and records were not kept. Annual census estimates released this week show Illinois' largest cities continue to lose population. Governor J.B. Pritzker again denying it. When asked why he thinks the state's major cities are losing population, Pritzker actually said the state gained population and annual estimates calculated by the Census Bureau are wrong.
And the post-enumeration survey determined actually Illinois got undercounted.
The survey Pritzker mentioned did lead to the census adding more people they missed. However, the census reported Illinois lost 79,500 after approving the state's request to include 46,400 Illinoisans. State Representative Chris Miller yesterday called Pritzker a population denier.
Well, I think that it's obvious that we've been bleeding jobs, we've been bleeding population, we've been bleeding opportunity, and I'm really shocked that J.B. Pritzker is a population denier.
Chicago population loss of 8,208 was the nation's third largest, behind New York and Philadelphia. Chicago sports, Cubs dropped the first of their long weekend set with the Pirates 5-4 at Wrigley. White Sox begin a weekend set against the Yankees at Yankee Stadium tonight. Women's College World Series softball gets going today with the NCAA tournament leading to the World Series. Northwestern will take on St. Francis later today. NBA playoffs, defending champion Nuggets on the ropes, on the brink of elimination after an embarrassing 115-70 loss to the Timberwolves. Xander Schauffele is sitting on top of the leaderboard after round one of the 2024 PGA Championship.
It's a great start to a big tournament, one I'm obviously always going to take, and it's just Thursday. That's about it.
Valhalla was ripe for the taking yesterday, probably not so much today. Schauffele tying the 18-hole scoring record in a major championship after shooting a 9-under 62. The news, a service of scholarships.com. Join scholarships.com for free to find accurate and vetted scholarships personalized for your student. That's scholarships.com. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dr. Sebastian Gorka sees some funny business.
What is alleged is a transgression of federal election campaign financing law, which is strange from the get-go because this is not a federal court. This is a New York court.
America First with Dr. Sebastian Gorka. Afternoons at 3, right before Sean Thompson at 4 on AM 560. The Answer.
Parents, grandparents, you might want to be sitting down because this is amazing news. Imagine the student in your family not asking you for money to pay for college, or better yet, not getting into years and years of debt. How's this possible? Scholarships.com, a trusted and widely used scholarship platform that helps your student find scholarships and navigate the financial aid process. Get help to pay for college through a personalized list of scholarships that your student actually qualifies for. Better yet, every scholarship is vetted to ensure accuracy. And now the best part, drum roll please, it's absolutely free. Go to scholarships.com today. Both students and parents can join for free. And within minutes, receive your list of personalized scholarship matches. Check out the wealth of information and resources available at no cost. And read the fantastic reviews from other scholarship winners. Scholarships.com has helped over 23 million students and families find scholarships to help pay for college. And will help you too. Join scholarships.com today for free. That's scholarships.com.
This is a red alert for hard-working Americans who are tired of seeing their freedoms and retirement savings threatened by the globalist agenda. Wealth Protection Research is on a mission to find whistleblowers who are exposing these schemes. Real patriotic financial warriors like Jim Rickards and Porter Stansberry. They're not afraid to tell it like it is and fight back against the system. Now, with the 2024 election storming our way, your IRA and your 401k may be in the crosshairs. That's why we've compiled our 3 favorite ideas into our Election Protection Report. You definitely won't hear any of these in the mainstream news. Get your free copy of our Election Protection Report now. Just text TRUTH to 76626. Plus, today you'll also get a free gold investment kit from our sponsor, Augusta Precious Metals. Text TRUTH to 76626 now and get the free report and gold investment kit. The fight for your financial freedom is on. Text the word TRUTH to 76626.
Standard text and data rates may apply.
It's 5:10. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. Only one big delay that we can see so far this morning, I-57, as you travel inbound between I-80 and 167. You have construction bottling up 2 left-hand lanes for the time being, and it's causing some big delays this morning. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast is a service of Progressive Insurance. Progressive can help you protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, RV, and more. If it can be covered, visit progressive.com or call 800-PROGRESSIVE. In our ReviveYourLawn.com Weather Center, we get the very latest this morning with Steve Williams.
Patchy fog around the area this morning, otherwise partly sunny. Our high today, 79. Cloudy tonight, low 55. Warm day tomorrow, clouds and sun, high 83. And then sunny, nice day on Sunday, the high 80. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Fog mostly centered on the south suburbs right now and west suburbs. Aurora fog, Joliet fog, Romeoville fog. Your O'Hare temperature is 62. Your next news at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer starts next on AM 560, The Answer.
Being present and in the moment for family activities was impossible because Will Burt was so focused on the constant pain in his leg.
My wife likes to take walks. I always kind of dreaded going on walks because they hurt. The boys both play baseball. I coach their teams. I was going to do them and be in pain and be uncomfortable and kind of sacrifice my own health.
An old Achilles injury left Will coping with agonizing pain until he discovered the natural biologic treatments at QC Kinetics. No surgery or steroids. The procedure took place in the office, and Will walked right out.
I feel great. There's no pain. There's no tenderness.
Patients like Will are feeling amazing and living their best lives.
Ironically, just got off the golf course today, so I think that's a good telltale sign that the Achilles is feeling better.
Don't be in pain another day. Call QC Kinetics for your free consultation. Call QC Kinetics, 312-809-5955. That's 312-809-5955. 312-809-5955.
Suburban Welding and Steel is your local welding, fabricating, and repair shop where service and quality is number one. Their dedicated team of experts can repair a job on-site or in their shop located in Franklin Park. They have the machinery needed to get your project completed with the craftsmanship and precision so you can get back to business. Suburban Welding and Steel Services, more than just the manufacturing industry. They also service the food industry, heavy equipment, trucking, airports, and railroads. Walk-ins are also welcome, so if you need it welded, repaired, fabricated, or modified, Suburban Welding and Steel will do the laser cutting, machining, forming, and plate rolling for you. Or they have the materials you need in stock and ready for the purchase. And if you know a hardworking person looking for a career in the trade, Suburban Welding and Steel is looking to add to their team of experts. Visit suburbanweldingandsteel.com to see the full story on what they can do for you. SuburbanWeldingandSteel.com.
Support our police and hire the police to personally protect you. You've watched the news. Rising crime has been affecting our everyday lives in Illinois more and more these days. Blue Star Security can protect you, your business, or your place of worship. Blue Star Security is the only security company in Chicago with over 900 off-duty police officers, all W-2 employees.
I'm Anthony Varchetto, president of Blue Star Security and a 20-year law enforcement veteran. The Blue Star team is made up of over 900 state-certified active and retired law enforcement professionals. We serve businesses and private organizations with supply chain and special event security, and also protect our loved ones at places of worship and schools all across the Chicagoland area. Blue Star Security's technology allows mobilization of off-duty officers quickly and efficiently. Our primary mission is to provide unparalleled protective services for each assignment with integrity, while maintaining our commitment to community service in the Chicagoland area.
Visit online to schedule a free security consultation at BlueStarSecurityLLC.com. That's BlueStarSecurityLLC.com.
This is Ed Morrissey of HotAir.com for Town Hall. A law professor waved an American flag at a City University of New York protest and got threats in response. Jeffrey Lax counter-protested this week at a pro-Palestinian demonstration on campus organized by the Muslim Student Association. They called the flag a fascist symbol and pledged to target Lax in future protests, as well as other Zionist staff. These people hate America, Lax said. They want America destroyed. Immediately after this incident, CUNY cited security concerns as they canceled 2 Hillel events on its campuses, celebrating Israel's Memorial Day and then their Independence Day. In other words, CUNY caved to the radical mobs that want an end to America rather than stand up for those who wish to uphold our ideals in free speech and religious tolerance. If you didn't hear about this, it's because not a single American media outlet covered it. Not even the media in New York reported on the cancellation of 2 Jewish events as radical activists target campuses and the American ideal.
Quick delivery service. What do you need delivered today?
Hi, I'm trying to work through a last-minute to-do list for my boss. Can you deliver a hard drive to the Loop in Chicago?
We can deliver that today.
Okay, can you deliver 20 boxes to a client in Rockford?
We can deliver that today.
Can you deliver 12 pallets of tile to our customer in Naperville?
We can deliver that today.
Can you deliver a large envelope to Northbrook?
We can deliver that today.
Oh my gosh, I think my water just broke. Can you...
We cannot deliver that.
Quick Delivery Service delivers your package no matter the size. More than just a messenger service, Quick Delivery Service is a messenger and trucking service that can also provide scheduled routes for your daily delivery or your air shipment. Trucks are equipped to handle the load and provide ground-level service for same-day delivery. The Quick Delivery Service team of safe, licensed professionals can provide quick door-to-door service for your special delivery. QuickDelivery.com. That's QuickDelivery.com. We deliver that today. But we don't deliver this.
Can you read this email for me?
Of course. Jeez, I wish they could do something for your eyesight.
Me too. But you heard what they said. There's nothing we can do.
When vision loss can't be corrected with glasses or surgery, and hope seems lost, turn to Spectrios Institute for Low Vision. Spectrios doctors specialize in the treatment of vision loss related to eye diseases, such as macular degeneration, glaucoma, and diabetic retinopathy. There is hope, supported by science with personalized rehabilitation plans, occupational therapies, and access technology at Spectrios. Talk to a patient service manager. They'll walk you through the program. Spectrios takes BCBS and Medicare insurance. They also have grants for qualifying patients and offer a Seeing is Believing children's outreach program. Go to spectrios.org, located in Wheaton in a building that says it all, the House of Hope. That's SPECTRIOS.org. Spectrios Institute, the head, heart, and eyes approach to better vision. Remember to keep Spectrios Institute, a 501c, in your estate or legacy planning.
Hi, this is Maria and Diane with the Del Bacchio Marchetti Group of App Properties Christie's International. We wanted to tell you why we placed number 9 in Illinois as the top producing real estate team and number 1 in Arlington Heights.
In the past 9 years, we assisted 1,975 buyers and sellers achieve the American dream of home ownership, selling $720 million in real estate.
If you are considering making a move, we can help you get the most value for your home in today's market.
Maria and I have over 50 years of combined experience. We take a conservative approach in protecting your asset and will give you the direction and professional advice needed to achieve a successful transaction.
Our pledge to you is to have your best interest at heart. So get the special attention you deserve with our white glove service from our city division to the suburbs.
Contact us for a free, no-obligation market analysis at thedmregroup.com. That's thedmregroup.com.
Information verification, MRED LLC, 2013 to 2022. Real Trends Large Teams 2022.
Hey, where are we?
Wake up, Sleepy. It's debate time, and I'm going to wipe the floor with you.
In your dreams. Oh, wait, we're debating?
Try to keep up here. It's a debate, and we're going to talk about my great economy and your economy that's been a disaster. You see, Joe, the dollar is only backed by the full faith and credit of the United States government, and that's why people are dumping dollars for gold and silver.
I usually buy online, so it's all tracked by Big Brother.
Ha! You would. I get mine from the great Americans at Fox Valley Coins, Route 59 in Naperville.
Who are you again?
You're a funny guy, and I'm a serious guy. See, you're not smart with money. I'm very smart. That's why I'm telling everybody about Fox Valley Coins. I tried some other folks, horrible people. Go to Fox Valley Coins and even you'll be treated very, very well. Oh, and by the way, they've sold thousands of silver coins with my pictures on them. They've got a few of you too, but seems they can't hardly give those away.
That's really not much of a debate. Fox Valley Coins, Route 59 in Naperville is the place to buy or sell gold or silver.
Is it true when you do events, your handlers say, break a leg?
Huh? Whoa!
Hi, this is Randy Donnelly from Donnelly Auctions in Union, Illinois, with my current want list for upcoming auctions. Guns and military items are always at the top of my list, but I have buyers for vintage automobiles and motorcycles, old gas pumps and automotive signs. Do you have pinball machines and coin-operated games like slot machines, jukeboxes? How about Coke machines and soda machines? Also, neon signs, antique phonographs and music boxes, old toys, especially science fiction and Star Wars. Cowboy and Native American collections like barbershop, ice cream parlor, and saloon items. We'll take one item or an entire collection. We sell it all. Call me before you sell your items outright because you could be leaving a fortune on the table. And you won't know until you call me at 815-923-7000 or send me an email at DonnellyAuctions.com. My job is to get you top dollar for your collections, so call me at 815-923-7000. I'm Randy Donnelly, and I'll see you at the auction.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. So on the Trump trial, since convicted perjurer, disbarred attorney, serial liar Michael Cohen was the star witness in this show trial that Alvin Bragg and Judge Merchant have put together. Michael Cohen's testimony. He ran into some bumps in the road, and that's not me saying it. And that's not Jonathan Turley, although he's a Democrat, or Mark Levin, or one of the other, Andy McCarthy, one of the other conservative legal pundits on in the universe saying it.
Yeah, it wasn't Alan Dershowitz. Oh, no.
This is, first, Ari Melber. He goes from MSNBC, he's one of these really obnoxious, obstreperous, fact-free propagandists that MSNBC likes to platform. And he just sort of gives a general characterization of what happened in court. And then we go to Gloria Vanderbilt's kid, who gives a more specific one to the extent he was able to understand what was actually happening. First, Ari Melber's characterization of Counselor Blanche representing Trump, cross of Michael Cohen, how he stood up under cross-examination.
The standard for the jury and why Blanche is making some progress is, by the end of this, does the jury have reasonable doubt about Cohen telling the truth on elements of the crime? The other stuff won't ultimately matter when they deliberate. It just accrues. But what we saw in that kind of dramatic back and forth as it's been described today, well, but you did lie, and have you lied, and why do you sound like this, and a podcast where you might sound allegedly unhinged, all of that accrues to whether jurors go back and say, I doubt whether he's telling the truth about an element of the crime. For example, Trump's criminal intent back in 2016. So I think they are landing blows, Andrea.
They're landing blows, yeah. One of the blows that they landed was with respect to a specific phone call that Cohen testified to, this is an important phone call if you're going to make out a case of some sort of criminal intent, criminal conspiracy, although he's not charged with criminal conspiracy, but to make anything resembling a case. And the call was allegedly Cohen talking to Trump about
the payoff,
the hush money payment.
Yeah, and it happened October 24th, 2016.
But in point of fact, this is where Todd Blanche, again, Trump's defense attorney, used Michael Cohen to testify against Michael Cohen.
You know, the Todd Blanche just methodically went through this sequence of events of this phone conversation that alleged that Michael Cohen had testified to previously. That he had this consequential phone conversation with Donald Trump. It was a 90-second phone conversation. I believe it was October 24th was the date that was testified to in around 8 p.m. or so at night. But Todd Blanche on his cross-examination today looked at the transcripts of text messages that Michael Cohen had received and sent before that time frame. And there had been this series, I guess, of crank calls that Michael Cohen had received. It turned out to be from some 14-year-old. There was an exchange of messages between the alleged 14-year-old and Michael Cohen. And then Michael Cohen texts Keith Schiller at like 7:50 something or 7:48 p.m. Saying, hey, I've got some dope has been harassing me. I got the person's phone number. Who can I talk to? Keith Schiller texts him back saying, call me, and Michael Cohen calls Keith Schiller. This is the conversation that previously Michael Cohen had said he was calling to speak to Donald Trump to tell him that he was going ahead with the Stormy Daniels arrangement and that Trump approved it, which was crucial to Michael Cohen's whole raison d'etre for being on the stand. He's the only person testifying to direct involvement by Donald Trump in the Stormy Daniels payments. But according to suddenly now Michael Cohen's refreshed memory, he now says, oh, it was a call about this 14-year-old making crank phone calls to me, but also about the moving ahead on Stormy Daniels. Todd Blanche was incredulous, his voice cracking, his voice raising up, moving around the courtroom, speaking, saying that what the jury doesn't want to hear, him guessing, it wants to hear facts. It was an extraordinary cross-examination by Todd Blanche. And, Michael Cohen's, throughout the day, Michael Cohen, when he found himself in a corner, he does have a pattern of suddenly not understanding the question that's being asked, or seemingly one could say buying time to try to figure out how he wants to answer.
To figure out how he wants to lie next. Well, people should know that Keith Schiller was Trump's bodyguard, and he never spoke to Trump that day. He only spoke to Trump's bodyguard that day on October 24th, 2016 at 7 o'clock at night.
Part of this is largely irrelevant, which is why I've avoided getting into the details of this case, because this is all fruit of the poisonous concocted case. So to go back and forth and treat this like there is a substantive legal claim here, there just isn't. But in addition to that, as we've talked about before, you have no case and you have no credible witnesses.
Right. Michael Cohen delivered as a liar yesterday. And according to court reporters that were in court, they said the jury was locked in on this, that they realized that if you were guessing and reading body language, because they have people that do that they realize too that he's not a credible witness.
Press corps. The point here is that if Gloria Vanderbilt's kid has too much respect for himself to go along with this, what he's seeing and what is being reported back from the courtroom, then maybe it is more likely than not at this juncture, after their star witness has testified, that one or more members of the jury will conclude the same if it does indeed go to a jury. If Judge Merchant doesn't step in the first place to avoid the more substantial rebuke, Merchant takes the heat and falls on the sword before a New York jury would actually straight up acquit Donald Trump. And what an indictment of Alvin Bragg and the criminal justice system in New York that would be.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro. Answer line 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment. But I can't believe if you're going on the stand talking about a specific day and time where you claim that you talked to the president about, paying off Stormy Daniels, and you never talked to the president, you talked to his bodyguard, and it was about a 14-year-old kid who was prank calling you. You don't think that they went over that with him? I mean, these prosecutors are not good at their job.
At
all.
Well, you don't have a case,
Right.
and you have a porn star and a serial liar. They're almost synonymous. Actually, a friend of mine had a good observation about Michael Cohen.
What?
Think about the worst lawyer that you know, the worst person who maintains their law license, but just the most terrible, unethical, incompetent, maybe, lawyer that you know. Because I think most people know one. Yeah. Now, Michael Cohen is worse than that person.
I believe it. I mean, I just can't believe this whole thing is just going to... I actually don't think that it's going to go to the jury. I think it's going to be dismissed. This is bad. I mean,
we'll see.
Mainstream media was trying to spin it all day long, but they all came to the same conclusion.
Now, the most fun part of yesterday's festivities in Manhattan was this street artist, if you will, named Scott Lebedo, released hundreds and hundreds of penis balloons with the pictures of Jack Smith, Alvin Bragg, and Judge Merchant on the balloons.
He pulled up in a U-Haul, opened up the back, and then just let the penis balloons fly.
Yeah, well,
Let's go.
Release the penises.
It was a bachelorette party or something.
Yeah, right. Lebedo, he has done some things like this before, actually. You may remember the name when he had, there was the Tea Party in Boston while there was the pizza party in New York City. This was Scott Lebedo throwing pieces of pizza, slices of pizza, over the fence in front of Gracie Mansion after it was announced that New York City or New York State, or the combination of the two, going after the coal-fired pizza ovens.
The woke idiots who run this city are doing everything in their power to destroy it. We have naked men with their bouncing around all over the city yesterday, in public, in front of children. We have the most violent, raging crime rate ever. We are being invaded by illegal immigrants who are being treated way better than our homeless veterans, our teachers, and first responder heroes who were fired, still not compensated because they didn't take the Fauci injection. Our city schools produce the dumbest kids, and the woke-ass punks who run New York City are afraid of pizza. The world used to respect New Yorkers as tough, thick-skinned, and gritty. Now we have become pussified. It's a damn shame. You heard of the Boston Tea Party? Well, this is the New York, this is the New York Pizza Party. Give us pizza or give us death.
Okay, Patrick Henry Lebedo. And he ultimately was, police had to come and say, sir, please stop throwing slices of pizza in the direction of the mansion. But anyway, yeah, that's the guy who pulled off the penis prank yesterday, which was, appropriate for the circus atmosphere that this show trial has created. Coming up at 5:38, we'll stay on this in part because, of course, we mentioned that Cohen's former attorney and former Chief Assistant U.S. Attorney in Manhattan, Bob Costello, was testifying before Congress.
Oh, yeah.
And that brought out the Mean Girls in the House. It's been Mean Girls Week in the House of Representatives. That's at 5:38.
I'll be sure not to wear my fake eyelashes. But now let's head into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott. Good morning, Mike.
Dan and Amy at 5:33 this morning. We have heavy fog blanketing the far western suburbs. Will have an impact on your morning commute. And French police have shot and killed a man armed with a knife and a metal bar, suspected of having set fire to a synagogue in the Normandy city of Rouen. French police say officers were alerted early this morning that smoke and flames were rising from that synagogue and came face to face with that man when they got there. Intense thunderstorms in Texas led to 4 deaths and power outages this morning in the Houston area. City officials confirmed the deaths Thursday night. Houston Mayor John Whitmire.
Unfortunately, we've had 4 fatalities, so be thinking of your neighbor. Let's assess our damage and come together and start the recovery like we know how.
It's the second time this month Southeast Texas has dealt with severe storms. This morning, power lines and trees are knocked down across the city.
Stay at home. Do not travel on the roads. It's dark. There's trees across roadways across Houston.
Dozens of Texas counties are waiting for high-risk warnings of flash flooding to expire today. The House is passing the so-called Ticket Act, targeting hidden fees, aiming to end deceptive ticketing practices that frustrate consumers. That legislation now moves on to the Senate. Former President Donald Trump will be attending his youngest son's high school graduation today. Barron Trump is getting his diploma from Oxbridge Academy in Palm Beach, Florida, a prep school that boasts a 100% college acceptance rate. A pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas encampment at DePaul University is now gone. Chicago police dismantled the encampment on the Lincoln Park campus yesterday. No protesters or police were injured during the clearing, but 2 were arrested afterward for blocking traffic.
Police department along with DePaul University as we approached. We had videographers with us, Department of Law. There's no confrontations. Like I said, as we approached, all the subjects voluntarily left the area.
The university said it received numerous complaints of discrimination, harassment, and violence since the encampment was erected on April 30th. Lame duck Cook County State's Attorney Kim Foxx is considering a policy of not prosecuting drug and gun cases tied to some routine traffic stops. Under the policy, Foxx's office would decline to file drug, gun, and theft charges in cases that begin with a traffic stop for issues like an expired vehicle registration. GOP candidate for Cook County State's Attorney Bob Fioretti says if elected, that policy ends day one.
We do not need 2 defense attorneys in the courtroom, and that's what she's making it happen.
There's been no official comment this morning yet from Democrat Eileen O'Neill Burke. Cubs dropped the first game of their weekend set with the Pirates 5-4 at Wrigley Field. Justin Steele charged with his first loss. White Sox begin a set with the Bronx Bombers at Yankee Stadium later on tonight. Stanley Cup playoffs. Chris Kreider scored in the third period. Scored 3 times. Had a hat trick in less than 10 minutes. Helping the Rangers eliminate Carolina 5-3 out west. The Canucks edged the Oilers 3-2 in Vancouver. The news, a service of Team Hochberg. They've helped thousands of AM 560 listeners with the best rates in service. Let Team Hochberg help you by visiting 56david.com or call 855-563-2843. Lower.com, equal housing lender, NMLS 1124061. A check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher says November holds some glaring issues.
Election integrity is going to be the most important thing we face in 2024. Let's face that. Let's acknowledge that. Let's just understand. Have we done enough? Well, no, of course not. But there have been a lot of election integrity efforts made in red states, in swing states. It's not going to come from Democrat legislatures. They want to cheat.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This is Ed Morrissey of HotAir.com for Town Hall. A law professor waved an American flag at a City University of New York protest and got threats in response. Jeffrey Lax counter-protested this week at a pro-Palestinian demonstration on campus organized by the Muslim Student Association. They called the flag a fascist symbol and pledged to target Lax in future protests, as well as other Zionist staff. These people hate America, Lax said. They want America destroyed. Immediately after this incident, CUNY cited security concerns as they canceled 2 Hillel events on its campuses, celebrating Israel's Memorial Day and then their Independence Day. In other words, CUNY caved to the radical mobs that want an end to America rather than stand up for those who wish to uphold our ideals in free speech and religious tolerance. If you didn't hear about this, it's because not a single American media outlet covered it. Not even the media in New York reported on the cancellation of 2 Jewish events as radical activists target campuses and the American ideal.
Success. It's discipline. It's teamwork. It's the drive and passion inside of us that comes before all recognition. It's the best of each of us made better by the best in all of us. It's what Stifel's been doing for over 130 years. And it's why Stifel is one of the fastest growing global wealth management and investment banking firms in the industry. Stifel. It's where success meets success. Start your journey at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Think identity theft won't happen to you? Think again. There's a new victim every 3 seconds in the U.S., over 15 million this year alone, and many don't even know they're victims. LifeLock alerts you to identity threats you could miss even when you monitor your credit. If your identity's stolen, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft, but everyone can save up to 25% their first year with my name, Clay, as the promo code at lifelock.com.
Now there's a simple, easy, and effective way to clean your nose and protect your health. It's called Navage. Navage, available at navage.com.
5:40. Let's get a check on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time, a service of scholarships.com. Imagine news. Your college student doesn't have years and years of school debt. It's available when you join scholarships.com. Free scholarships.com. I-57 stop and go already this morning, northbound between Vollmer and I-80. I-80 until 6 a.m. You've got a westbound off-ramp to Hobart closed, causing some light delays. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. Dense, heavy morning fog, otherwise warm with partial sunshine later today with a high of 79, 55 overnight. Sun and clouds tomorrow and a high of 83. We have heavy, dense fog in the western and southern suburbs, Aurora, Joliet, Morris, Romeoville, Lansing, all dealing with visibilities down to a quarter mile or less this morning. Officially 60 right now at O'Hare. Your next news update is at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Girls are mean.
No, they can be very, it's brutal. They can be very catty, especially when they start talking about your looks. That's when it gets really bad.
It's been a Mean Girls Week in Congress because you've had both the House Judiciary and House Oversight Committees taking up this issue of holding Attorney General Merrick Garland in contempt over his refusal to turn over the audio tape of Biden's, the big guy's, interview with Special Counsel Robert Hur. Biden is hilariously asserting executive privilege. We'll get to that in a second. Now, both committees, the House Oversight and House Judiciary, voted to move the censure of Garland out of their respective committees. And so you'll probably see a party line vote on it and perhaps a censure of the Attorney General, which doesn't amount to much, but does put the attention on Biden's absurd assertion of executive privilege over the audio of his interview with special counsel, since he waived that privilege by sitting down for the interview with the special counsel. And also there is no privilege to begin with, but I'll get to that in a second. And the hypocrisy of it, as there's all this this decrying of Trump's assertions of executive privilege that are before the Supreme Court right now, with an opinion anticipated before the end of next month when their term ends. Okay, so we start not yesterday, but the day before. And I like what the ladies on the right are doing to Dan Goldman, who is, I'm designating an honorary socialist Spice Girl like I do Sean Casten, because he so desperately wants to be. This guy was actually a prosecutor before being a member of Congress. He is just a just absurdly, I know absurdly ridiculous is a bit redundant, but I mean, it requires redundancy to fully try to characterize Dan Goldman. This is somebody who characterizes the big guy's interactions with Hunter, his baby boy, as, just a dad talking to his son, just a dad who loves his son. He's one of those guys who's running that sort of interference. He says things that that are insultingly incorrect.
Okay.
Like he's insulting your intelligence, which is what the left does generally, but he's really an impresario at it. Anyway, the issue of Garland, and of course that brings in everything related to what's going on in Trump world. And here was Harriet Hegman. She's the one who replaced Liz Cheney. It's a nice upgrade, actually, going after Dan Goldman, his conflict of interest, which has been established. And I like this characterization because at least Stefanik picked it up as well.
It seems like there might be a dog in this hunt on the other side. What you need to understand is that Mr. Goldman, the novice representative from New York, actually does have a personal stake in this case. He has stated that he has been involved with the Bragg case, helping to prepare Mr. Cohen for his testimony. So he is quite closely aligned with an admitted and convicted liar and perjurer. He's also paid the Judge Merchant's daughter's firm over $150,000 for her services. So I think we've got quite a conflict of interest from Mr. Dan Goldman, the novice representative from New York.
They keep calling him the novice representative from New York. I love the, infantilization and emasculation of Goldman. And this occurred again, sort of Hegman handed off the baton to Lee Stefanik during the testimony of Michael Cohen's former attorney, Bob Costello, and former, again, chief assistant U.S. attorney in Manhattan, who was testifying as to Michael Cohen's mendacity and as to the whole sham that is occurring right now in Manhattan. Costello, among other things, had this to say.
Absolutely. I mean, there's no coincidences here. The fact that Judge Merchant has had all of these cases, and by the way, when he finishes with the Donald Trump case, Steve Bannon is next. Out of all the judges in New York County, somehow they keep on coming up with the same judge. Coincidence?
I don't think so.
I don't believe in them.
I think it's all coordinated. Let me just
That was before the House Weaponization Committee, right? You heard Jim Jordan's voice. I didn't know that Bannon's sentencing is up for, is it going to be up before Merchant? Huh, that's interesting.
I'm keeping it close to the vest, huh?
So anyway, so Costello's testimony is the backdrop of this exchange. First, you hear from Goldman doing his performative indignation in the direction of Costello, suggesting that testifying at this stage with the trial ongoing is somehow witness tampering, and then Stefanik rides to the rescue.
And all the Republican majority is trying to do here today is lawfare, is interfere in ongoing criminal investigations that our system is perfectly well equipped to handle. And I yield back.
The gentleman yields back. I now recognize Ms. Stefanik for 5 minutes.
Oh, I love being able to respond to the novice from New York. First of all, thank you so much for stating the obvious, that political lawfare is in fact election interference. That's what we're seeing with the sham Alvin Bragg trial. Thank you also to the novice freshman member for New York, highlighting that withholding military aid to an ally for a political purpose, just like Joe Biden is doing to Israel. Always grateful for you stepping in it.
I just love that, the novice representative, and they just pound and pound and pound there. And I guess you get away with that in terms of, you're not allowed to personally disparage a fellow member of Congress. Well, that was out the door.
Yeah, that did happen.
When this was taken up by some of the ladies in the respective caucuses. So, again, we're talking about the same issue that's being debated, that's generating a lot of sniping. So first you have Marjorie Taylor Greene, MTG, and Jasmine Crockett. And then you have AOC and MTG. And then you have Crockett and Anna Paulina Luna from Florida. So settle in, grab some popcorn if it's not too early for popcorn. And here's 3 minutes of Mean Girls in the House committee tackling this Garland contempt issue.
I'd like to know if any of the Democrats on this committee are employing Judge Merchan's daughter.
Fair question.
Please tell me what that has to do with Merrick Garland.
Is she a porn star?
Oh, Goldman. That's right.
She a
He's
porn star.
advising. Okay.
He's advising who? What? Do you know what we're here for? You know we're here about
just
AG.
I don't think you know what you're here for.
Well, you the one talking about. I guess
I
you
think
still
your
stuck in the
fake
courtroom.
eyelashes are messing up.
No,
with
ain't nothing.
Hold on.
Listen.
Order.
Mr. Chairman, that's beneath even you getting order of your committee.
Order.
I do have a point of order, and I would like to move to take down Ms. Green's words.
See.
That is absolutely unacceptable. How dare you attack
Meeting will
the
suspend.
physical
Meeting
appearance
will
of another
suspend.
person?
Not the Are your fakies. Feelings hurt?
Her words down.
Aw.
Oh, girl, baby girl.
Oh, really?
Don't even play.
Baby girl?
We're gonna,
I don't think
we are going to move,
AOC
and we're going to
so
take your
street.
words down.
I
Thank you very
second that motion.
So who will have to fail?
No.
Ms. Green agrees to strike her words.
I believe she
Chair
needs to
recognizes
apologize. No,
Mr.
she
Perry.
needs to
Okay,
apologize.
hold on. Then after Mr. Perry's going to be recognized, then Ms. Green
I'm not
still has 4 minutes and
apologizing.
21
Well,
seconds.
then Okay, you're reserve not the right to striking your object. words.
I am
You're
not
not
apologizing.
Jim Comer is overwhelmed.
I know he's got 2 hearing aids.
Why
too.
don't
He's
you
like,
debate me?
Mr. Chairman, the minority.
pretty
Chair
self-evident.
you're not.
Yeah, you're not.
out of order.
You don't have enough
You're out of order.
intelligence.
Chair
Yeah.
recognizes Mr. Perry.
Okay, move to strike
I'd like to strike those
the
words
lady's
as well.
Move to
Order.
strike the lady's
Well.
words again.
That's 2 requests to strike. That's 2 requests to strike.
Oh, they cannot take the
There's
words.
another motion to strike her words again. Please
All right,
get
okay,
your members under
here's
control.
the correct parliamentary. Ms. Green, do you agree to unanimous consent to strike your words?
I repeat again for the second time. Yes, I'll strike
right.
my words,
That-
but I'm not
all right.
apologizing.
Without objection.
Not apologizing.
21 seconds.
Mr. Chair, point of order.
I think they need to go out.
Jasmine Crockett again.
It's me.
Ms. Crockett.
I'm just curious, just to better understand your ruling. If someone on this committee then starts talking about somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body, that would not be personalities, correct?
What now?
Who?
Chairman, I make a motion to strike those words.
I don't think that's
Hold on.
I'm trying to find clarification on what quality.
Chairman, motion to strike those
Anna
words.
Paulina Luna enters.
We're not gonna do this. Look, you guys earlier literally just said
You just voted to do it. You just voted to do it.
Order.
I'm trying to get clarification.
Look at calm down.
No, because this is what y'all do. So I'm trying to get
Ms.
clarification.
Crockett, you're not recognized. Ms.
I can't hear
Crockett.
you with your yelling.
This is awesome.
Calm down.
No,
Can you please calm down?
don't tell me to calm down.
Calm
Don't
down.
tell
Calm
me.
down.
And then
You're out of control.
Because if I
Look,
come,
Chairman,
if I
can
come
we
and
send
talk
out- take a
about
break
her,
for 5
y'all
minutes?
gonna have a problem.
Talk what?
Mr. Chairman.
Chair, okay.
You're
Order.
acting
Chair
like
now
that.
recognizes.
It reminded me of those 2 Girl Scouts that had the barroom brawl in Airplane. Sort of.
That with the bleach blonde, bad built body.
Oh no. Yeah.
Brute built body.
I'm sorry. The what now?
Oh my.
The who? A bleach blonde, bad built butch body. Yeah.
Butch body.
That was the rejoinder to a delayed rejoinder to the fake eyelashes shot
Yes.
from MTG. So anyway, that's how they decided. That's how they had a spirited back and forth to decide whether or not to move forward the resolution to hold Merrick Garland in contempt. Very
312-642-5600 turnkey.pro answer line. You can also text us 64636. Type in DA, then a quick. I've never seen that before. They got nasty quick.
Yeah,
Ooh.
and then Jasmine
Both
Crockett, one of the Socialist Spice Girls, she used a prohibited word. She used a profanity. We had to bleep it. It's rare when you have to bleep a back and forth in a House Oversight Committee. But anyway.
And poor James Comer, he went later on, in that exchange. He's like, I have 2 hearing aids. You're all talking at the same time. I can't process what's happening.
Yeah, well, also,
Poor
I
guy.
don't think he could keep up with the mean girl vernacular of Jasmine Crockett. I'm sorry, the what now?
And AOC, too. I mean, she's...
Oh, baby
girl.
I love that. Well, why didn't you take it outside and fight it out? Why didn't you fight it out on the Capitol steps?
So Boricua, street talk.
Yeah.
Nueva New Yorka. Chudono. Let's go.
Yeah.
She went into street talk real quick there.
Yeah, right. It was a very West Side Story. Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
You thought it was fun. Did you see the movie Mean Girls?
Yeah, I did.
Did it remind you of that at all?
It did. Well, that's what I said. Sort of, and they're all sort of, I mean, they're all house cats, right? These weren't feral cats that were fighting. They're all house cats, really. I mean, both sides. It's just fun to see it devolve into the pettiness and venality that actually punctuates most of the members of Congress when they, as one of my favorite lines of all time that I reference often, as Dennis Miller said, who are otherwise, Earl-shived into looking somewhat consequential. I mean, right? They're all,
That's right.
It's all like a facade. Oh, they're so civilized and they're so dignified and it's all very heady business. No, it's not.
Got a great text message. Dan and Amy, this is why women should only get 3/5 of a vote.
Yeah.
I mean, when I saw that and I heard it, when I watched parts of it yesterday, I thought, honey, you're giving women a bad name there.
No, baby girl, don't you do it.
You can't read because your fake eyelashes are in the way.
And then the audience turns into the audience for a glow match. Ooh, ah. So it's just, the whole thing is so absurd. Well, we live in a ridiculous, astoundingly stupid in so many ways country now, these days, don't we? Dan and Amy, Chicago's Morning Answer.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Parents, grandparents, you might want to be sitting down because this is amazing news. Imagine the student in your family not asking you for money to pay for college, or better yet, not getting into years and years of debt. How's this possible? Scholarships.com, a trusted and widely used scholarship platform that helps your student find scholarships and navigate the financial aid process. Get help to pay for college through a personalized list of scholarships that your student actually qualifies for. Better yet, every scholarship is vetted to ensure accuracy. And now the best part, drum roll please, it's absolutely free. Go to scholarships.com today. Both students and parents can join for free. And within minutes, receive your list of personalized scholarship matches. Check out the wealth of information and resources available at no cost. And read the fantastic reviews from other scholarship winners. Scholarships.com has helped over 23 million students and families find scholarships to help pay for college. And will help you too. Join scholarships.com today for free. That's scholarships.com.
This is Ed Morrissey of HotAir.com for Town Hall. A law professor waved an American flag at a City University of New York protest and got threats in response. Jeffrey Lax counter-protested this week at a pro-Palestinian demonstration on campus organized by the Muslim Student Association. They called the flag a fascist symbol and pledged to target Lax in future protests, as well as other Zionist staff. These people hate America, Lax said. They want America destroyed. Immediately after this incident, CUNY cited security concerns as they canceled 2 Hillel events on its campuses, celebrating Israel's Memorial Day and then their Independence Day. In other words, CUNY caved to the radical mobs that want an end to America rather than stand up for those who wish to uphold our ideals in free speech and religious tolerance. If you didn't hear about this, it's because not a single American media outlet covered it. Not even the media in New York reported on the cancellation of 2 Jewish events as radical activists target campuses and the American ideal.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
Oh, it's been actually really good. I'm 81 years old. I'm a retired nurse, and I have found, I've taken it for about 5 years, I do feel better. At first, there wasn't a drastic change, but I found it really has made, a difference in my lifestyle. It does improve our quality of life.
Start your journey with Balance of Nature supplements. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer. And for a limited time, get 35% off your first order, plus $10 off any additional sets with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan, I have some text messages here. That right there is why I'm glad I have boys. And wait for it. I could read this one. I don't think you could read this one. Dan and Amy, congressional offices in need of fumigation for chronic yeast infections.
Wow. That's strong. By the way, just on the Biden privilege, just quickly again. One, he's already waived it, so he can't reassert it once it's waived. Number two, it pertains to actions he took as a senator and vice president, not president, so he doesn't have privilege. It's a ridiculous argument that Merrick Garland is hiding behind. Sports and politics, 606.
Patchy morning fog, high 79 at 6 a.m. WIND Chicago.
Storm damage and death in Texas. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
It's almost like we had a small hurricane come through downtown Houston with little to no warning.
Shelby Rose with Fox 26 TV. The morning after 100-mile-an-hour winds did damage.
Completely riddled with glass from all of the skyscrapers surrounding us. If you go up, there's a catwalk where we are, and nearly half, if not more than half of those windows blown out. This one message that the Houston mayor is really hitting home is for all of Houston to stay home today. It is this entire block. Thankfully, Houston police have all of this cornered off so motorists don't drive through this dangerous area.
4 people were killed, some hit by falling trees. There are 1 million power outages across Texas and Louisiana, which also get hit by the same storm system. The first trucks of humanitarian aid are flowing into Gaza a new way as Israel keeps battling Hamas, rolling off a new floating pier the U.S. military built that's anchored to a beach. In Washington,
Mr. Chairman, on this vote, the ayes are 24, the nays are 20.
So House Republicans on the Oversight Committee joined the Judiciary Committee last night, approving a contempt of Congress resolution against Attorney General Merrick Garland. The full House will consider it next for not handing over audio recordings of President Biden's interview with Special Counsel Robert Hur,
who investigated the classified documents case. Now, Hur's report noted that President Biden willfully retained and disclosed classified materials, but did not charge the president. In his report, the special counsel also described Biden as a, quote, sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory. But now President Biden is asserting executive privilege over that audio.
Fox's Brooke Singman. There's no Trump trial today. The former president will attend his son Barron's high school graduation, saying after yesterday's testimony,
I think it was a very interesting day. It was a fascinating day. And it shows what a scam this whole thing is.
He's charged with falsifying records and payments to keep an alleged affair quiet before the 2016 election. America's listening to Fox News.
In Chicago, heavy dense fog and 60 degrees this morning. On AM 560, The Answer, a pro-Palestinian and pro-Hamas encampment at DePaul University is now gone. Chicago police dismantled the encampment on the Lincoln Park campus yesterday. No protesters or officers were injured in the clearing.
Police department, along with DePaul University, as we approached, we had videographers with us, Department of Law. There's no confrontations. Like I said, as we approached, all the subjects voluntarily left the area.
Last night, outside agitators and students like pro-Hamas supporter Parveen Mundi rallied outside the DePaul Student Center.
We simply refuse to accept a sanction saying that we as students would give up our right to protest if we signed an agreement that included amnesty.
The university saying it's received numerous complaints of discrimination, harassment, and violence inside the encampment since it was erected on April 30th. Authorities confirmed the FBI raided a home in Chicago's Lincoln Square neighborhood. The action took place yesterday at a home in the 2200 block of West Farragut. Lame duck Cook County State's Attorney Kim Foxx is considering a policy of not prosecuting drug and gun cases tied to some routine traffic stops. Under the policy, Fox's office would decline to file drug, gun, and theft charges in some cases that began with traffic stops. GOP candidate for Cook County State's Attorney Bob Fioretti says if elected, that policy ends day one.
We do not need 2 defense attorneys in the courtroom, and that's what she's making it happen.
There has been no official comment this morning from Democrat Eileen O'Neill Burke. A measure that would provide instruction for Illinois school districts on relaxation activities like yoga or meditation once a week is headed for the governor. The Illinois House passed the Senate bill after rousing debate led by State Representative Joyce Mason.
I have read countless articles about the benefits of mindfulness and stress reduction in classrooms. It improves grades, it improves concentration.
State Representative Blaine Wilhauer said the legislation will make school districts vulnerable to lawsuits, as was the case here in Chicago.
I think we're getting into very, very dangerous territory here, and we've got actual case studies in the state of Illinois where these issues have been very, very problematic.
The measure passed on a 71-40 vote in Springfield. Chicago sports. Cubs lost to the Pirates 5-4 at Wrigley last night. White Sox begin a weekend set in the Bronx against the Yankees. Women's college softball NCAA tournament gets underway. Northwestern will take on St. Francis in Austin. The news, a service of In Grace with Jim Scudder Jr., now heard Sunday morning at 6:30 right here on AM 560. We'll have a check of traffic and weather coming up next on AM 560.
Charlie Kirk doesn't see things going exactly to plan.
They thought that May was going to be really strong for the regime. There is a backlash to everything they have been doing, to mass immigration, to easy money, to hyperinflation, to reckless war, to the militarization of our legal apparatus.
The Charlie Kirk Show. Afternoons at 1, right before Sebastian Gorka at 3 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, if you want a firearm that is easy to transport, you got to check out the U.S. Survival Rifle from our friends at Henry Repeating Arms. Now, it is a portable rifle that you can put together, take apart in just minutes, and then when you're not using it, you can store the parts in the little case that it comes in. It's so small you can store it pretty much anywhere, and it's light enough to carry everywhere. Now, it comes in black and 2 different camo patterns, and you can pick one up for $300 to $400 depending on the finish. Check out their videos. Go to their website. It's one word, henryusa.com/survival. And while you're there, make sure you order their free catalog. Now, Henry makes more than 200 rifles and shotguns and revolvers, all made in America, all backed by a lifetime satisfaction guarantee and the best customer service in the business. Go to their website, henryusa.com. Get their free catalog. They'll send you free decals and a list of dealers where you are. That's henryusa.com. Free catalog decals for the Henry U.S. Survival Rifle.
Relief Factor, pain relief that's natural, pain relief that works, and pain relief that attacks the source of the pain. That's the experience of tens of thousands of Americans who are taking Relief Factor right now. See their incredible video endorsements at relieffactor.com and then order your 3-week quick starter pack for just $19.95. That's less than $1 a day. Find out if it can work for you like it works for me by ordering your 3-week quick starter pack today. Relieffactor.com, relieffactor.com. Be the next success story.
Flo here from Progressive to tell you how you get more than great savings with us. You get customer service access through our mobile app, online chat, or by phone.
That's a lot of ways I can get in touch with you. I see what's going on here. You can't name favorites, but I'm your #1 customer.
Actually, we offer all our customers these ways to contact us.
I'm sure you give just any customer your personal
company
contact info.
Well, you did call us more than any other customer this year. So in that sense, you are our #1 customer.
Get help from Progressive through the website, app, chat, or phone. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
6:07, let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time, and this update is a service of scholarships.com. Imagine news your college student doesn't have years and years of school debt. It is avoidable when you join scholarships.com free. That's scholarships.com. Kennedy inbound 30 O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. Outbounders, you're dealing with a rollover accident. Right lane block between California and Kimball. Stevenson, brake lights, Harlem to Kedzie. 40 minutes from the Tri-State into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Jammed up on the Tri-State this morning northbound between the Reagan, I-88, and the Ike Merge. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. In our ReviveYourLawn.com Weather Center, here is Steve Williams.
A bit of patchy morning fog, otherwise partly sunny, warm. High today 79, cloudy tonight, low 55. Partly sunny, a warm day tomorrow, the high 83. And then mostly sunny, very nice day on Sunday, a high 80. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
The fog not so patchy this morning. It spread into zero visibility areas like Rochelle, Aurora, Joliet this morning. Heavy fog over the western and southern suburbs. Partly cloudy at O'Hare and 60. Your next news update is at 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Sports and politics and sports and politics and sports and politics and intersection. Arrogance and ignorance. Arrogance, ignorance, and arrogance and ignorance. Intersection.
We start on this edition of Sports and Politics with the ongoing and, of course, anticipated fallout over Harrison Butker's commencement speech at Benedictine College in Kansas that we talked about. We talked about a couple times this week.
Yeah, and 140,000 plus people have signed a petition to try and convince the Chiefs to fire him.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, his jersey is the best seller among both sexes. It's going the Butker jersey is going for $130.
Oh, thank you, Jesus.
Yeah. So anyway, there was a lot he said during his commencement address about his faith. But of course, and all the focus is on the hot button issues of the day by the man-hating shrews who look at abortion as some sort of sacrament. And if you're not talking about the glass ceiling and women making 72 cents at every dollar a man makes and all of these other canards that are bandied about by these magpies on talk shows, then you're, an enemy of the people. You're marginalizing already marginalized communities and so on and so forth. I think you've heard the rap enough times.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest hot button issue I keep hearing is he thinks women should be in the kitchen and be homemakers, where he was just encouraging graduates to get married and start a family.
No, the biggest issue is abortion. That's just a cover story. That's just a cover story. All of these detractors care about is killing kids. That's what they're really focused on.
I don't know, that bothered so many women in my circles.
Yeah, and they use that as a front to hide their true belief because it's a little bit more uncomfortable and it's a little bit more difficult to defend. Just to restate, sort of reset the baseline here, here's the pertinent part of Butker's commencement address that offends.
Our own nation is led by a man who publicly and proudly proclaims his Catholic faith, but at the same time is delusional enough to make the sign of the cross during a pro-abortion rally. He has been so vocal in his support for the murder of innocent babies that I'm sure to many people it appears that you can be both Catholic and pro-choice. He is not alone. From the man behind the COVID lockdowns to the people pushing dangerous gender ideologies onto the youth of America, they all have a glaring thing in common. They are Catholic. This is an important reminder that being Catholic alone doesn't cut it. These are the sorts of things we are told in polite society to not bring up. The difficult and unpleasant things. But if we are going to be men and women for this time in history, we need to stop pretending that the Church of Nice is a winning proposition. We must always speak and act in charity, but never mistake charity for cowardice. It is safe to say that over the past few years, I've gained quite the reputation for speaking my mind. I never envisioned myself nor wanted to have this sort of a platform, but God has given it to me, so I have no other choice but to embrace it and preach more hard truths about accepting your lane and staying in it. As members of the church founded by Jesus Christ, it is our duty and ultimately privilege to be authentically and unapologetically Catholic. Don't be mistaken. Even within the church, people in polite Catholic circles will try to persuade you to remain silent. There even was an award-winning film called Silence, made by a fellow Catholic, wherein one of the main characters, a Jesuit priest, abandoned the church and as an apostate, when he died, is seen grasping a crucifix, quiet and unknown to anyone but God. As a friend of Benedictine College, His Excellency Bishop Robert Barron said in his review of the film, "It was exactly what the cultural elite want to see in Christianity: private, hidden away, and harmless." Our Catholic faith has always been countercultural. Our Lord, along with countless followers, were all put to death for their adherence to her teachings. The world around us says that we should keep our beliefs to ourselves whenever they go against the tyranny of diversity, equity, and inclusion. We fear speaking truth because now, unfortunately, truth is in the minority. Congress just passed a bill where stating something as basic as the biblical teaching of who killed Jesus could land you in jail. But make no mistake, before we even attempt to fix any of the issues plaguing society, we must first get our own house in order, and it starts with our leaders.
So that's the part. I mean, because he goes right after Catholics who are pro-abortion and gender fiction. And that's all of these Herodins and P-hats that are attacking Butker.
Yeah, and the
You're attacking who they are.
plus community, too.
Correct. And the other thing he does is he says, don't be silent. And what that does is say, well, you don't want to animate conservative Catholics, traditional Catholics, to actually proselytize, to actually stand up for themselves, to actually make the case the way that Harrison Butker does, because that's shaming those people who are the cafeteria Catholics, who are Catholics like most of the Catholic schools these days, for ornamentation only. They're cultural Catholics because it was handed down by their parents, but they pick and choose what they want to believe, and they call themselves spiritual, and they start every sentence with "as a Catholic" or "as a Christian," so because they're trying to convince themselves. Remember what David Mamet said about what the left fears. He's talking about Hollywood, but it's really writ large. What does the left fear most? Exclusion.
Yeah.
And if you take the Butker line on being a Catholic and living as a Catholic, that's necessarily going to exclude the pretenders. And that's what they fear. So that's what this is about.
They know he's right. I mean, deep down, I think.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro.
I was not offended by anything you said because, yes, women, we want to accomplish things in our professional careers, academic careers, but my biggest accomplishment is my children and providing a home for them and providing love and a stable environment. And I don't, what he said was, you think to achieve, you'll have success in your career, but the real success comes from home. What is offensive about that? What is wrong with that? Because
it's not about that. They're saying, oh, he wants women pregnant and in the kitchen. They're using that, as I said, as a cover because what are they going to say to what you just heard him say? That's you didn't say anything about women not having careers or only raising kids or only being homemaker. You didn't say anything about that.
No, I know, but they interpret it that way.
No. Your friend is a liar. Your friend is using that as a cover for who she actually is. And what you just heard from Butker is what cuts to the core of those frauds. And that's what they are. You want to start talking turkey here? Let's start talking turkey. I'm not accepting the facade that you're presenting. Sorry.
Well,
not going to do it.
One Benedictine grad in the audience was so offended, and she went on MSNBC yesterday.
Getting married and having kids is not my ideal situation right now. It definitely made graduation feel a little less special, knowing I had to sit through that and get told I'm nothing but a homemaker.
Yeah. Here's a good example of what you're dealing with, though, in the quote-unquote adult world. Uh-huh. This Sarah Haynes, I don't know who this is.
Oh, I know her.
She's one of these man-hating shrews on The View.
Yeah, she's been around for a while, but yes, she worked in Iowa. I met her back there, but now she's in New York and very flaming liberal. I don't remember her being so liberal, but
so this is what you get from these frauds, these Christian frauds in the wealthy suburbs, for example, around Chicagoland. You see them every single day. Go to the Starbucks in Hinsdale. There's a group of them. There's a coven of them, I should say, congregating right now. Sarah Haynes responding to Harrison Butker as a Christian.
On The View, she's on The View.
I agree with you that in the spirit of freedom of speech, I don't want people shut down or fired for things they're willing to say. Yeah. I will break with you on the comparison to Colin Kaepernick for this reason. Colin Kaepernick was standing up for the rights of many and saying in a social justice moment, this is a reminder that we're not there yet. What this man is doing is not just a devout Catholic. This is someone who's practicing something called the traditional Latin Mass, which is divergent from the majority of Catholics. It's compared to being cult-like and extremist like some religions in the Middle East and Asia. So this is a very extreme religion, and what bothers me about that as a Christian is that when people abuse Christianity, they often not only cherry pick from the Bible, they misinterpret and lie by omission, by taking out parts that would have explained something a little better. So what I can say to him as a Christian is if you're using this to oppress a people or hold them down, you're not walking with Jesus. If you are using the religion, if you are more obsessed with the religious rituals and practices than you are with the word of Jesus, you're not walking with Jesus. And if you're using it for the judgment of others and as a weapon to beat people down, you're also not walking with Jesus. So I would really encourage him to find the best parts of faith and not diverge into extremist beliefs.
And the SEALs dutifully clap. I don't know how to break it. I don't know how to break it to Sarah Haynes, but she also said this.
Just so you know, in the Catholic Church, the Pope diverges from this belief.
I know Sarah Haynes believes that I'm sure she's read the papal encyclicals on all of these topics, going back, to at least a few hundred years. I'm sure she's a noted theologian in her own mind. So I hesitate to break with such a deep thinker as Sarah Haynes and all of the others that she represents that subscribe to that view, that think they can get away with just saying extremist language and if you're using the Bible to oppress people and so on and so forth. So a couple things, Sarah. One, Pope Francis is a pro-life. This just in.
Don't tell her. Let her figure it out on her own.
Number two, Sarah, Pope Francis has referred to marriage redefinition, what you would call gay marriage, as an anthropological regression. Direct quote, his words. Is that oppressing people? You're a pope? Third, that is not at all what Pope Francis said about the Latin Mass. And I'd love for Sarah Haynes to compare and contrast for us, distinguish for us, not just Colin Kaepernick versus Harrison Butker. Oh, my gosh. Colin Kaepernick, get his Black Lives Matter talking points was standing up for what a joke. But anyway, just sticking on the Catholic thing for a second. Distinguish for us from the Mass in Latin as opposed to Latin Mass, and explain again how this is cult-like, and it's and she makes some reference like it's comparable to a jihadist version of Islam. That's clearly what she was implicating. Please, more detail on this. Let's hear it, chapter and verse. Sarah Haynes, maybe she's moonlighting as a FBI agent in the Richmond office with her grave concern about the Latin Mass. By the way, that doesn't change whether you whether you prefer the Tridentine Mass or the post-Vatican II liturgy. It doesn't change sort of the fundamental teachings of the faith. So all this like a Latin Mass business, extremist, oppressor. I mean, this is just what they do. They know nothing.
I know.
They know nothing. They don't care to know anything because all they have to do is wrap themselves in that sentimental barbarian garb and say, you're marginalizing, you're oppressing, if you're not walking with Jesus, if you're not for things that are 180 degrees from his teachings, but no, but I'm lifting up, I'm empowering. I'm standing with the downtrodden. This is all of sort of a more ignorant version of the "He Gets Us" ad campaign that you see everywhere that I've talked about before, including during the Super Bowl, because they had Super Bowl ads. This is exactly what Harrison Butker is talking about. Obviously, The View has this audience of generally illiterate suburban women around the country. And that's a problem. And this is why you can't be silent. This is why you have to address the darkness that emanates from the ignorant like Sarah Haynes. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636-DA, turnkey.pro text line. George in Naperville, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, Dan. I think this is how ignorant their thinking is. I'm going to be the Catholic I want to be, not what someone else wants me to be.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay. Thanks for the call. Tom in Blue Island.
Good morning, Dan. Amy. Dan, I think you just kind of covered what I was going to say. I go to a Latin Mass, and it seems to me the only thing that's different from that and going to St. Christina out south here is just that I don't understand. Obviously, I don't speak Latin, so I can't exactly follow the singing easily, but it's so beautiful, and it makes you want to attempt to try to learn the songs in Latin. But outside of that, it doesn't seem to me there's any difference, and it makes you wonder, are they only saying this for people that have never experienced a Latin Mass in the effort to make it like some kind of outlier, out of the idea that most people have never attended one, and therefore they think it's some kind of cult thing? Who says I'm a Christian and that the Latin Mass is cultish? That's the craziest thing I've ever heard.
Thanks for the call, Tom. Well, it's real simple. You have to slime Harrison Butker so that you don't have to address the substance of what he said. He's a cultist. He's an extremist. We've seen them do this over and over again. Does anybody pick up on the pattern? Ben Carson is a Seventh-day Adventist. He's an extremist. He can't be president of the United States. He can't be vice president. He's an extremist. He's a religious zealot. He's a bigot. This brilliant doctor, pediatric neurosurgeon, and soft-spoken, devout Christian, as a Christian, Sarah Haynes. But no, Ben Carson is an extremist because he belongs to a church that you don't understand or really care to. And I'm not a Seventh-day Adventist, but I respect Ben Carson's commitment to his faith. I don't find Ben Carson to be extremist or attempting to install some sort of theocracy, which is always sort of the subtext of this fear-mongering that these sentimental barbarians do. This is an extremist. You can't let him get a hold. You can't let him get near the levers of power. We'll have a theocracy. That's what they do. Then they don't have to defend the substance of their positions or address the substance of someone like Harrison Butker's.
And I love that Harrison Butker is now the number one selling jersey in the country. Over Kelsey, Taylor Swift's boyfriend. He's knocking him out of the park, and Patrick Mahomes.
Jordan in Antioch.
Good morning. You're referencing extremism and her talking about that. I'm sure she does find that extreme. I'm sure in her circles of quote unquote Christians, the Latin Mass and a lot of other services in this country that happen every Sunday and Saturday evenings and Wednesdays, I'm sure they are extreme because they follow the Word of God. They follow the teachings of Jesus Christ. So, she probably does find that a little bit extreme. And the other thing is, it's people like her. I'd love to sit and have a coffee with her and just break out Ephesians 5:22. She talks about people who pick and choose the words from Scripture that they use as weapons in this extremism. And I'd like to sit and have a coffee with her and any other woman who quote claims to be a Christian, but yet wants to argue Ephesians 5:22. If you're not familiar with it, that's the scripture where Paul says that women should submit to their husbands, which always raises feathers. But that's all they read. And then right after that, it says, husbands, you're to love your wives as Christ loved the church. So I find that amazing when people say that, because as soon as they bring that out, I know exactly what kind of person you're dealing with. And, yeah, I'm sure she finds that extreme. I'm sure she finds a lot of people's views extreme. But she's not a Christian. I pray that she does someday, but she's not. And, yeah, it's just it's sad. And good for this. Good for Butker. Good for him.
Thanks for the call, Jordan.
I bet she has never been to a Latin Mass.
Well, obviously.
I mean, come on. Sitting there passing judgment. She doesn't even know what she's talking about.
By the way, Pope Francis has not dispensed with the Latin Mass. He's imposed restrictions on it where you have to get approval from the bishop, which I don't agree with. That's counter to what Pope Benedict did, for example. But he did it not because he believes that attendees of the Latin Mass are cultists. He did that because, in his view, the Latin Mass was a source of division, that surrounds Vatican II, basically. So it was in the interest of church unity, he wanted to restrict it. But that's very different from how she characterized the situation, because, of course, she doesn't care to know what she's talking about. She has no interest. George and Lyle.
Hi, Dan and Amy. I have a confession to make. I belong to a terrorist organization called the Knights of Columbus. And we're going to be raising Tootsie Roll sales for the mentally disabled. But anyway,
another cult.
Yes, exactly. I wanted to ask you, what do you think about Bishop Robert Barron's teachings? And
I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan. His Word on Fire series is really, really good. He makes the faith very accessible. He's just a great presenter, and
he is,
and a very strong theologian. I mean, he's not as strong as Sarah Haynes, but he's not bad. Thanks for the call, George. Appreciate it. By the way, of course, the city of Kansas City apologized for Harrison Butker's comments.
I mean, the NFL's worried about, female viewership, the Taylor Swift fans who started watching the Chiefs and the NFL. Come on.
They also, city of Kansas City also doxed Harrison Butker, which was nice of them.
And their attorney general's like, nope.
NFL's chief diversity and inclusion officer. Need I say more? You can fill in what the NFL's chief inclusion and diversity officer had to say, running from Harrison Butker's comments as fast as they can. The need to even comment on it. We got 800 guys in the NFL, so they have different opinions. What do you want? Why does the NFL feel the need to have to restate it? We're inclusion because they're pea hats. Because they're pea hats. All the big tough guys. Just like we talk about with the trade unions, all the big tough guys. Put on your pea hats, little boys.
But
Put on your pea hats.
Colin Kaepernick can do what he wants because he's a black man, but because he's a white Christian man, he can't say and express his own opinions. But the Attorney General, Andrew Bailey from Missouri, says, my office is demanding accountability after the Kansas City Chiefs doxed
whatever.
Last night, daring to express his religious beliefs.
Whatever. Here's the thing. It's with that kid at North Carolina, one of the kids that held up the American flag in the face of the model Hamas mob. Be a man. Be a man. That's the message that's reverberating or needs to reverberate across this country. To men, obviously. Not those pretending to be.
Coming up on...
Like the ones that watch The View and ascribe to the same viewpoints as Sarah Haynes.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll talk about what the federal government is or isn't doing, these federal agencies involved in voter registration to rig the 2024 election with RealClearPolitics.com's Ben Weingarten, 636.
But now into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
6:33, heavy fog this morning. House Speaker Mike Johnson accusing the Biden administration this morning of holding congressionally mandated aid in its hands. Biden saying he's pausing a shipment to Israel due to concerns over full-scale military operations in Rafah. So, the House will vote on a bill today preventing the president from withholding weaponry to Israel. A tornado warning and a severe thunderstorm warning remain in effect for dozens of Texas counties, waiting out a high risk of flash flooding through later today. Overnight, Coco Dominguez with Fox TV affiliate KRIV in Houston witnessed the severe damage in downtown Houston.
This is not a situation or an area that you want to be at. We also saw a lot of sky walls along the way, completely windows blown out. I've been in Houston all my life. I've never seen downtown Houston look the way it looks right now. There's just debris everywhere that you look.
Houston Mayor John Whitmire confirms there were at least 4 deaths in the storm.
Unfortunately, we've had 4 fatalities. So be thinking of your neighbor. Let's assess our damage and come together and start the recovery like we know how.
The mayor urging non-essential workers to stay home, and the Houston School District has canceled classes. House GOP members are advancing a measure to hold Attorney General Merrick Garland in contempt of Congress.
President Biden is apparently afraid for the citizens of this country and everyone to hear those tapes.
The House Judiciary Committee advanced the measure along party lines yesterday.
The effort to threaten to defund our investigations and the way in which there are contributions to an atmosphere that puts our agents and our prosecutors at risk, these are wrong.
The Attorney General this week. The move is in response to Garland's refusal to turn over audio recordings of President Biden's interviews in his classified documents case. A pro-Palestinian and pro-Hamas encampment at DePaul University is now gone. No protesters or officers were injured yesterday during the clearing.
Police department along with DePaul University as we approached. We had videographers with us, Department of Law. There's no confrontations. Like I said, as we approached, all the subjects voluntarily left the area.
Last night, outside agitators and students like pro-Hamas supporter Parveen Mundi rallied outside the DePaul Student Center.
We simply refuse to accept a sanction saying that we as students would give up our right to protest if we signed an agreement that included amnesty.
The university saying it's received numerous complaints of discrimination and harassment from that encampment. Authorities are confirming the FBI did raid a home in the Lincoln Square neighborhood. The action took place yesterday at a residence in the 2200 block of West Farragut. An FBI spokeswoman says a warrant was executed in an ongoing criminal investigation. Ian Happ went deep, but the Cubs lost to the Pirates 5-4 at Wrigley. White Sox begin a weekend set with the Yankees at Yankee Stadium. The Bears signed their edge rusher, Austin Butker, to a 4-year rookie deal with the team yesterday. Xander Schauffele sitting on top of the leaderboard after round 1 of the 2024 PGA Championship at Valhalla in Louisville.
There's spurts of, moments in time where you feel like you can control the ball really well, you're seeing the greens really well, you're chipping really well, but over a prolonged period, it's tough to upkeep, high performance. But yeah, I'd say it's very close to it, if not it.
Schauffele tied the 18-hole scoring record in a major championship after shooting 9 under 62. The News is a service of Quick Delivery Service. When you need reliable, same-day delivery to clients, Quick Delivery will customize a logistics plan to pick it up and move it safely to its destination. Trust their 40 years of experience. Get a quote at quickdelivery.com. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Make sure that you never miss a day of Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson when you subscribe to the Chicago's Morning Answer podcast, presented by Signature Bank. Listen to the entire show each day on demand with limited commercial breaks. You can subscribe today for free at 560theanswer.com and click on podcasts or search for Chicago's Morning Answer on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Pure Talk, my sponsor and my wireless company, of now providing international roaming to over 50 countries. Now, as you plan your summer travel, make sure that your wireless company covers you at home and abroad. Now, you can get unlimited talk and text, plenty of 5G data for just $20 a month. That's less than half the price of Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile for the exact same service. Dial pound 250, say the keyword save now. Do it now. You save an additional 50% off your first month. Make the switch to Pure Talk so you can afford to travel this summer.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Parents, grandparents, you might want to be sitting down because this is amazing news. Imagine the student in your family not asking you for money to pay for college, or better yet, not getting into years and years of debt. How's this possible? Scholarships.com, a trusted and widely used scholarship platform that helps your student find scholarships and navigate the financial aid process. Get help to pay for college through a personalized list of scholarships that your student actually qualifies for. Better yet, every scholarship is vetted to ensure accuracy. And now the best part, drum roll please, it's absolutely free. Go to scholarships.com today. Both students and parents can join for free. And within minutes, receive your list of personalized scholarship matches. Check out the wealth of information and resources available at no cost. And read the fantastic reviews from other scholarship winners. Scholarships.com has helped over 23 million students and families find scholarships to help pay for college. And will help you too. Join scholarships.com today for free. That's scholarships.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies supplements. Changing the world one life at a time.
Oh, it's been actually really good. I'm 81 years old. I'm a retired nurse, and I have found, I've taken it for about 5 years, I do feel better. At first, there wasn't a drastic change, but I found it really has made, a difference in my lifestyle. It does improve our quality of life.
Start your journey with Balance of Nature supplements. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer. And for a limited time, get 35% off your first order, plus $10 off any additional sets with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
Shop with the experts. A 5-carat certified colorless tennis bracelet is just $1,650 at cleanorigin.com or their retail stores. Mention code radio10 for 10% off. That's cleanorigin.com.
6:41. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. And this update is a service of UPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, and reliable. Turn to shipping and turn it to your advantage with USPS Ground Advantage from the U.S. Postal Service. Learn how at USPS.com/advantage. Kennedy inbound 45 from O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange, and they have cleaned up an outbound accident out of your way now between North Avenue and Kimball, but some delays do remain. Inbound Dan Ryan, 23 minutes, 95th into the Burns Circle interchange. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. Patchy morning fog, otherwise warm with partial sunshine later today and a high of 79. In our ReviveYourLawn.com Weather Center, right now we're seeing partly cloudy, a little bit of fog, and 60 at O'Hare, but heavy fog, visibilities under a quarter mile in places down to 0 like Aurora, Joliet, DuPage Airport, Morris, Romeoville, and Lansing, all reporting severe, limited visibilities. Next news at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Chop Chop, House Oversight Committee, House Republicans, RNC, Trump campaign, Chop Chop, in terms of finding out what exactly the Biden administration is doing with federal agencies to register, to turn out voters that they would like to see registered and turned out come November. Ben Weingarten over at Real Clear Investigations has been attempting to aid the effort by getting details from what the administration is doing with agencies, including but not limited to Labor, HUD, DHS, Homeland Security, Education.
Sounds like they're using our tax dollars to do it.
Right. And we also know from the Cleta Mitchell memo, the great election attorney inside the Beltway there, from a couple of months ago that we discussed in detail, that we have statutory gaps, National Voter Registration Act, as well as the statutes governing people voting overseas, that are of concern as well. And is enough attention being paid or enough answers being obtained to ensure that, to ensure the general integrity of the election, and to ensure that this is not a way that anybody interested in attempting to rig the outcome would, in fact, have the opportunity to do so. Well, let's explore this in a little bit more detail with Ben Weingarten. He's editor-at-large for RealClearInvestigations.com. He's also a senior contributor to The Federalist, and you can get his reporting and musings at his Substack, weingarten.substack.com. Ben, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me.
So, this is a recent development that Jim Comer and the House Oversight Committee has now engaged on this. But what is sort of our understanding of what we know the federal government is doing, how that does or does not comport with statutory law, and the questions that we really need answers to in terms of the actual day-to-day implementation of whatever is afoot?
Well, the first thing that I think is really notable is that this executive order on, quote unquote, promoting access to voting, which aims to target constituencies, particularly that the Biden administration deemed underrepresented, so minority constituencies explicitly in the order, was put forth in March 2021. It's amazing that we heard almost nothing about it at that time. Mm-hmm. The House, then controlled by Democrats, was pushing essentially for a federal election takeover via legislation. But what the Biden administration did is they hedged, in my view, by putting forth this order. The order deputizes, directs every single federal agency, so this is more than 600 different offices, to register and mobilize voters, essentially using whatever resources and methods they can. And it also directs them to look to work with, quote-unquote, third-party, nonpartisan groups in furtherance of those efforts, including specifically in voter registration efforts. And this immediately calls to mind, it's worth noting, the Zuckbucks campaign in 2020, where you had privately funded election administration in which those dollars were granted out to, guess who, third-party, quote-unquote, nonpartisan nonprofits to aid the election offices. And when you look at who the groups are that have been publicly supportive of the order, that participated in one of the few sort of meetings that we know about this, a listening session with the DOJ back in 2021, as it and other agencies were devising their strategic plans in connection with the order to carry it out. These are across the board left-wing, identity-focused outfits who all have essentially the polar opposite view of election integrity that conservatives do in this country. And if you look at what they proposed in that listening session, many of the agencies have taken up the very recommendations that those groups put forth. So you noted, for example, we have HUD potentially using public housing offices as voter registration centers. You have naturalization ceremonies. The U.S. government is trying to register people when they become U.S. citizens. You have federal work study funds that the DOE, Department of Education, has put out guidance saying that federal work study funds can be used to pay people to register and turn out voters on college campuses, and on, agency after agency. But we know very little about this, which makes it all more concerning because the Biden administration has stonewalled at every turn when it comes to congressional letters, when it comes to watchdog groups having FOIA requests. What has been unearthed has largely been through litigation against the Biden administration. The Heritage Foundation's Oversight Project, which helps contribute to some of my reporting on what happened in that listening session, has actually put out a massive dump of documents yesterday showing the documents they've obtained from a whole slew of agencies about what they're planning on doing or what they have done to implement the order. The fact of the matter is, it is proceeding through Election Day, and we still know very little about it. And that's why congressional engagement is so vital here. There were attempts to eventually defund or abolish the implementation of the order through legislation under the Republican-controlled House, but it did not move ultimately. And so now we're at the point where pretty much the only way this will be stopped, and of course it's been implemented all this time, so we're almost at Election Day and we're almost at election starting in any number of states, is litigation. There's a federal case out of Pennsylvania in which 24+ state legislators went forward and challenged it on a slew of grounds. You asked about the statutory and constitutional implications. The obvious constitutional one, of course, is elections are the purview of the states. The states largely control election administration and processes. And what the Pennsylvania state legislators argue, among other things, is that federal involvement in registering voters, mobilizing voters, including with third-party groups, directly conflicts with its own state law. So there's a massive federalist issue here that has to be determined by the courts. You've had federal legislators who have said this could potentially violate the Hatch Act. They can't have federal employees engaging in what are almost definitionally going to be partisan electioneering activities, even if the government would like to tell us that they're independent and non-political, in part because you're talking about turning out disproportionately those Americans who engage with government agencies who are disproportionately going to tend left. And, of course, you're talking about a Democrat administration in charge of programs benefiting those with whom they're interacting. So it's almost, again, inherently a massive conflict of interest. There's also claims that there may be Anti-Deficiency Act violations where money has not been appropriated by these agencies specifically to carry out what this order is calling for. So I mentioned that case in Pennsylvania was dismissed for lack of standing in a federal court there, in a district court there. However, the plaintiffs have appealed that to the Supreme Court. They filed a petition for writ of cert. They also filed a motion to expedite the case. This was in late April. So I'm keeping an eye right now, and Americans ought to keep an eye on what the Supreme Court does, because if the Supreme Court quickly takes up the issue of standing and goes in favor of these Pennsylvania legislators, that would be a pivotal step on the way to a potential universal injunction that would freeze this order before Election Day. But nevertheless, the administration's been implementing it largely in the dark.
Right, exactly. So you've had a 3-year run-up. That's the problem. The other problem is, I mean, what you're sort of highlighting is you essentially have a taxpayer-funded ballot harvesting and GOTV program going on through these federal agencies, including these nonpartisan third-party groups or NGOs, which conjures in my mind the NGOs that are helping to resettle people into this country illegally, who are also funded by taxpayer dollars. It seems like it's the same program that they're using for the importation of people who've entered this country illegally, and also with respect to, as you said, not just registration, but the key word mobilization. So get them on the rolls and either ballot harvest or turn them out. And I mean, ultimately, it sounds like to me, and I wonder if you understand there to be any recognition of the scope of the challenge here, that this is going to be a political challenge for the Trump campaign, for the RNC, for the Republican Party at this juncture.
I think you can describe the political challenge in one number. Demos, the progressive think tank that created the blueprint for this plan that the Biden administration took up in this executive order, they said that if fully implemented, this plan could turn out, by one estimate, 3 to 3.5 million new or updated voter registrations annually. If we look at the 2020 race or the 2016 race, we're talking about tens of thousands of votes in a handful of states swinging the presidential election. So that is the scope and the potentially decisive nature of the play at hand. To your point, I think it's very apt to talk about kind of the NGO industrial complex and working hand in hand with federal authorities to achieve progressive goals. I think that is the orientation of the order from everything that we've seen about it. So the challenge is massive. And let's just also note, as I wrote about in a recent reported piece of Real Clear Investigations, Democrat super PACs, for example, have made it known that they believe the key highest return on investment tactic when it comes to winning elections is using 501c3s to target, quote unquote, underrepresented voter groups, particularly in pivotal swing states, to turn out those voters, register them, and mobilize them. So this is precisely in keeping with what the Democrats believe they need to do to win elections. And now you have the federal government working hand in glove to do it.
And what's your assessment of the Republican Party's acknowledgement, understanding, responsiveness to this?
It doesn't seem to me that the Republican Party quite understands just how powerful this particular executive order is, because they did not make, I think, a big enough argument about defunding it, didn't elevate it enough publicly, in my opinion. However, that said, I think they do understand that Democrats are going to use every possible tactic to maximally turn out Democrat voters within the law, and then using lawfare to try to change the law. You have seen a more aggressive counter lawfare push when it comes to the RNC and other conservative lawyers on this, but it is still more of a defensive action and an attempt to play catch-up than it is an offensive action, because Democrats have really pioneered these methods of registering and ballot harvesting voters. They have the advantage that Democrat voters typically tend to be clustered in higher population density areas. And so it's not easy to say, well, conservatives, just turn on your own ballot harvesting operation, turn on your own underrepresented eligible voters that ought to be on the rolls. And then last but not least, you mentioned the illegal alien aspect of this. And there was a hearing just yesterday on the Hill with the House Administration Committee where they talked about, Christian Adams, among others, talked about the fact that there are non-citizens and illegal aliens on the voter rolls. They have historically voted. We have no idea as to the ultimate size or scope of that, but there are studies showing substantial percentages who have voted historically. And this executive order, to Cleta Mitchell's point, raises the issue of how do we know that federal agencies are only working to register legal voters?
100%.
And we have seen evidence out there that in the Bureau of Prisons, for example, and the DOJ is working to provide voter registration and information to those held in federal custody. That may well include illegal aliens. So the confluence of all of these factors raise real questions already about the integrity of the 2024 election. And of course, we know the chill that the entire Democrat and uniparty establishment has cast over asking those questions. You can see chaos coming down the pike.
So do you think we're going to have a fair, safe, and secure election in 2024?
I mean, you almost have to put those words in scare quotes every time you see them, just because I don't view this as an issue of, well, there's going to be nefarious electronic changing of the votes. But is an election fair the further and sort of just, and is there integrity to it, the further you become unmoored from a single election day with identification in person? We've so whittled away these guardrails that ensure confidence in it that it's very hard to say that Americans are going to be able to have integrity when you get further and further away. You go more to remote voting over weeks or months where you don't know who is in the room while a person is filling out and casting their ballot, and you don't have voter identification stipulations in place. Now, is it going to be better than it was in 2020? I think on paper, yes, because you do have states that have imposed, for example, bans on Zuck bucks, voter identification. There have been challenges to what transpired in many of the states that last time, but we're still going to have a greater, more disproportionate remote voting regime than we've had historically, and that always is going to raise questions naturally. And it used to raise questions for Democrats. When you had the Carter-Baker Commission on voting, they said remote voting created the greatest chances of questions about the integrity of the ballots, but now Democrats have made that the key to voting.
Well, this conversation has been so sobering, I think I need a drink. Ben Weingarten, editor-at-large for RealClearInvestigations.com, senior contributor to TheFederalist.com, and you can get his reporting and writings at weingarten.substack.com. Ben, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, and he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
More of Mean Girls Week in the House at 7:07.
But now into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Police have dismantled a DePaul pro-Palestinian encampment. A CPD officer found dead of an apparent suicide. Kim Foxx considering no prosecutors tied to gun cases that may be linked to routine traffic stops. Cubs fall to the Pirates. White Sox visit the Yankees. And WIND Chicago News Time is 7 o'clock.
It didn't have a name, but a storm hit Houston like a hurricane. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Stay at home. Do not travel on the roads.
That was Mayor John Whitmire last night. Shelby Rose with Fox 26 TV out on the Houston streets, seeing glass everywhere, and when she looks up,
blinds and drapes that are just blowing in the wind from how many windows were just blown out. Insulation riddling this intersection, and damage and debris aside, unfortunately, there were 4 confirmed deaths here in this area because of this storm.
The damage and flooding isn't just in Texas. Louisiana also got hit. There are about 1 million power outages in those states. A different kind of drama in Louisville, Kentucky that Fox's Todd Pyro reports has delayed a major golf tournament.
Police reportedly putting Scotty Sheffler, the #1 golfer in the world, in handcuffs ahead of round 2 of the PGA Championship. ESPN reporter Jeff Darlington saying it happened, quote, after a misunderstanding with traffic flow led to his attempt to drive past a police officer into Valhalla Golf Club. Darlington going on to say, quote, the police officer then began to scream at Sheffler to get out of the car.
Now, Sheffler was supposed to tee off this hour, but play has been delayed there more than an hour. They'll start at about 8:30 Eastern. As for the accident, he was trying to get around. A shuttle bus hit and killed a pedestrian near the golf course. There was also drama at the House last night between congresswomen.
Do you know what we're here for? I think your fake eyelashes are messing up. No, ain't nothing.
Well, Marjorie Taylor Greene said to Jasmine Crockett, upset Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
That is absolutely unacceptable. How dare you attack the physical appearance of another person?
Are your feelings hurt?
Oh, girl, baby girl.
Oh, really?
Don't even play, baby.
Crockett then insulted Greene as looking butch with bleach blonde hair. All before Republicans on the House Oversight Committee voted to hold Attorney General Merrick Garland in contempt of Congress for refusing to turn over recordings of a Biden interview with a special counsel. America's listening to Fox News.
Sunshine in Chicago, heavy fog in the western and southern suburbs, 60 degrees this morning at 7:02. Chicago police are investigating at least 6 business break-ins and possible burglaries. All took place this morning across the city. First took place just after midnight in the 7800 block of Southwestern Avenue on the city's south side. A man was shot early this morning outside a Wicker Park neighborhood bar and cafe. The man was shot twice in the abdomen around 4 a.m. in front of Estelle's Cafe and Lounge along North Avenue in the 2000 block. Chicago Fire was first on the scene and reports that that person again is in, so far, critical condition. A pro-Palestinian and pro-Hamas encampment at DePaul University is now gone. Chicago police dismantled the encampment on the Lincoln Park campus yesterday.
Police Department, along with DePaul University, as we approached, we had videographers with us, Department of Law. There's no confrontations. Like I said, as we approached, all the subjects voluntarily left the area.
Last night, outside agitators and some students rallied outside of the DePaul Student Center. An autopsy is scheduled later today for a Chicago police officer who died in an apparent suicide on the Near West Side. The unidentified officer was found yesterday with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Nearly 30 Chicago police officers have died by suicide since 2018. Cubs lost to the Pirates 5-4. White Sox battle the Yankees tonight. NBA playoffs. Defending champion Nuggets are on the brink of elimination following a 115-70 loss to the Timberwolves. The news, a service of CharlesEquipment.com, keeping the lights on when unexpected storms cause loss of power at your business. Get help quickly at CharlesEquipment.com. A check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
If you listen to the mainstream media and the Democrats, you'd think it was a sin to be black and conservative. Well, John Anthony blows up that perception every week on Black and Right. Join John tomorrow afternoon at 4 when he pushes back against the left and its regressive, progressive agenda that tries to dictate how people should think or feel about politics. Listen to Black and Right tomorrow afternoon at 4, right here on AM 560. The Answer.
Ad paid for by the Sentinel Group. Attention Marines, military personnel, families, and contractors who were stationed at Camp Lejeune. Were you present at Camp Lejeune between August 1953 and December of 1987? You may be entitled to significant compensation. For nearly 34 years, those in the Marine Corps' base Camp Lejeune were exposed to contaminated drinking water, resulting in devastating injuries, including several forms of cancer, adverse birth outcomes, Parkinson's disease, and more. North Carolina's procedural laws have prevented victims from getting the justice they deserve, but passage of the Camp Lejeune Justice Act of 2022 would allow you or a loved one to file lawsuit seeking compensation for illnesses and injuries linked to the toxic water. Call today for your free consultation. 800-540-7158. Let our experienced attorneys fight to get you the compensation you deserve, and you pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. Call 800-540-7158. That's 800-540-7158. Again, 800-540-7158.
Hey, if you want a firearm that is easy to transport, you got to check out the U.S. Survival Rifle from our friends at Henry Repeating Arms. Now, it is a portable rifle that you can put together, take apart in just minutes. And then when you're not using it, you can store the parts in the little case that it comes in. It's so small you can store it pretty much anywhere, and it's light enough to carry everywhere. Now it comes in black and 2 different camo patterns, and you can pick one up for $300 to $400 depending on the finish. Check out their videos. Go to their website. It's one word, henryusa.com/survival. And while you're there, make sure you order their free catalog. Now, Henry makes more than 200 rifles and shotguns and revolvers, all made in America, all backed by a lifetime satisfaction guarantee and the best customer service in the business. Go to their website, henryusa.com, get their free catalog. They'll send you free decals and a list of dealers where you are. That's henryusa.com, free catalog decals for the Henry U.S. Survival Rifle.
You've heard Rumpke's Garage commercials on AM 560, and now they specialize in servicing Sprinters and light-duty diesels. But the experts at Rumpke's also service Isuzu and Chevy low-cab forward trucks. So if you own an Isuzu or Chevy low-cab forward truck but aren't sure where to get it repaired, take it to Rumpke's Garage, your #1 dealer alternative for repairs to your Isuzu NPR, Isuzu F-Series, or Chevy low-cab forward truck. Whether gas or diesel, your truck is the lifeline of your business. That's why Rumpke's Garage offers free loaners while your truck is being serviced. They'll even pick up and deliver for your convenience. Rumpke's Garage has the factory scan tool to properly diagnose Isuzu and Chevy low-cab forward trucks. Their commitment to your business is backed with a complimentary maintenance plan and free 2-year warranty. Go to Rumpke'sGarage.com to learn more about their specialization in Isuzu and Chevy low-cab forward trucks and schedule your appointment today. That's Rumpke's, REMKES, Garage.com.
7:07, let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time, a service of scholarships.com. Imagine the news. Your college student doesn't have years and years of school debt. It's avoidable when you join scholarships.com free. That's scholarships.com. Eden's inbound, 30 minutes, Lake Cook Road to the junction. The Kennedy inbound, a manageable 50. Right now, O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. Outbounders, 52 minutes as you travel out to O'Hare. Ike 55 minutes, 390 into the old post office. Outbounders are jammed up Costner to Des Plaines Avenue. Stevenson running at 43 into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Dan Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th into the Burn Circle interchange. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. In our ReviveYourLawn.com Weather Center, here is Steve Williams.
Patchy fog around the area this morning, otherwise partly sunny. Our high today, 79. Cloudy tonight, low 55. Warm day tomorrow, clouds and sun, high 83. And then sunny, nice day on Sunday, the high 80. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Partly cloudy and 60 at O'Hare, 61 at Midway. Fog in Aurora, Joliet, DuPage Airport, Morris, Lansing. Visibilities less than 1/4 of a mile. Your next news update is at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment brought to you by Unleash Your Wealth with Raj Shah and Rick Borick this Saturday at 7 a.m. and 2 p.m. Learn more at scwealthadvisors.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. I want to get to more Mean Girls Week in the House of Representatives because it's been really entertaining. But I do have to address this issue. It's been a tough week on the PGA Tour.
Oh.
First, the announcement that Rory McIlroy is getting divorced.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'll note that he then goes on to win last week, and he shot a 67 yesterday in the first round of the PGA. So talk about being unburdened.
Liberated at last.
Yeah,
and it's affecting his golf game. I mean, look at that.
Now that he's got some...
Proft is single.
Yeah, exactly.
It helps your golf game, you know.
Falls right into that. He probably beat Nicklaus's majors record. Now he's going to go on a tear. It's been 7 years. Anyway, so that happened. And then yesterday outside of Valhalla in Louisville, Scotty Sheffler was put in handcuffs.
Yeah. Is he in jail right now? Oh,
no.
Mike.
Then he went and shot 68.
Oh, okay.
So he was temporarily detained. So there was this fatal bus accident in Louisville, I guess, and it backed up traffic for an hour.
Well, yeah, a shuttle bus hit a pedestrian.
And so Sheffler was trying to make his tee time, which, by the way, if somebody's trying to make a tee time, you know, look, I'm on the side of law enforcement generally, but that should be a police escort, not being handcuffed, especially if you're a PGA Tour pro. But I would say any golfer, if you're late for a tee time and you have a credible reason, like there's this traffic accident that backed up traffic for an hour.
You're Mr. Law and Order. Are you serious?
Well, yeah, I am. So, so Scotty Sheffler goes around. You know, they were not allowing entrance into the Valhalla Golf Club because of whatever traffic management the police were doing. So he drives around to get into the club, and a cop, basically grabs, onto his car, and he stops and he pulls him out of the car and he slams him on this is the report, slams him on the hood and puts him in cuffs. And Scheffler's trying to motion to like the ESPN guys that were apparently within shouting distance, hey, a little help here. He doesn't know I'm Scotty Scheffler and I got to play in this tournament. And the cop said something like, there's nothing you can do. You're going to jail. He didn't recognize Scotty Scheffler. But ultimately, he understood the situation and he let him go shoot 68 and stay in the hunt there after day one of the PGA. It's a major. So in this instance, there's two problems. One is that the police officer didn't recognize Scotty Scheffler, and everybody should recognize Scotty Scheffler. That's on the cop. He shouldn't need to say, you know who I am? He's Scotty Scheffler. You should know who he is. And it's like the Jordan rules, the Sheffler rules. If he needs to get in to make a tee time for a major, come on.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro, answer line 64636, type in DA, then a quick comment. Well, they blocked off the area because they needed to conduct their investigation because somebody lost a life.
Yeah, I understand.
And you think this God-fearing family man, I mean, I know he's got a job to do, and I'm sure, maybe he said a prayer for the victim. I don't know. But the rules are the rules. I mean,
no.
Doesn't he have people with him? I just
rules,
don't understand how this works.
The rules are the rules.
You
don't understand how traffic management works. You don't understand how a traffic accident works. So it's blocked, and they're doing their whatever investigation. They're not allowing people to get up and around and into the club. But then there's the commonsensical exemption for Scotty Sheffler to get into the club to play golf. Now, I assume if he maybe didn't see the cop, he would have stopped and tried to say something to the cop. But anyway.
Well, and by the way, just a little heads up, his wife, Meredith, did already give birth. So, because remember, we talked about that, if she gave birth while he was playing the Masters, if he'd run off to be with her by his side.
Yeah, ridiculous. Yeah, there's a ridiculous assertion. There's no chance, and there shouldn't be. That's absurd, but yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to address the Scotty Sheffler thing because it was weird and it sounded like maybe I don't know exactly what It's hard to know exactly what happened, but Sheffler obviously wasn't trying to run down a cop or think the rules don't apply to him. He's just trying to get into the club, and he's on the clock because he's been already delayed an hour by this accident. Sorry, the accident happened, but he's got to get into the club.
Image of golf's most clean-cut star. I mean, he has Bible studies with, caddies and other golfers. This clean-cut star in handcuffs, that's a shocking image.
Okay, well, let's not be melodramatic.
Well,
it's a misunderstanding that was cleared up, and then, the right thing was done, which is to let him into the club to play golf, to play in the golf tournament. I mean, let's not get hysterical about it.
I'm not hysterical. I'm just saying it was very odd to see him in handcuffs.
Well, yeah.
And being
right.
like a perp walk across the street.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
As if he's some, convicted felon on the lam. Dun, dun, dun.
Well, since you brought up the Why Dan Proft is single, maybe, before we get to Mean Girls, which is another reason why Dan Proft is single, the Socialist Spice Girls, frankly, MTG, too.
But they're all part of this. No one's,
Yeah, it's a rough crowd there. But
whatever happened to when they go low, we go high.
Yeah, right. Yeah, what a bunch of bull jive that was from Michelle Obama. There's a new study out. Many women are prone to throwing up, passing out from high stress of dating.
What?
It sounds like it's worse than Brandon Johnson. Panic attacks, puking, and passing out.
Oh my God.
I've been on dates where I've tended to induce some of that, so I understand. 68% of women say dating is their leading source of stress, per a new study via matchmaking app Flirtiner or Flirtini. Flirtini, I can't read. 68% of women, dating is their leading source of stress, according to the experts at Flirtini.
I think I know why.
Crippling anxiety of meeting a potential paramour has prompted profuse sweating, vomiting, fainting while out with the would-be beau. Well, maybe it's anxiety, or maybe that's just what the guy like myself would engender.
I think I know why, Mr. Proft.
Wait, one more data point here, because this is a bit surprising. Some 36% of women have passed out on a date due to stress.
Come on. Or were they roofied? Dun, dun, dun. 36% have passed out.
1 in 3 say they've passed out on a date due to stress. 1 in 5 say they have puked while on a date.
Oh.
Boy.
All right.
I should just talking to people who I dated. The authors say dating isn't easy, especially if you're a woman. There's nothing more anxiety-inducing than finding love. Oh, is that what they're looking for? Okay, sure. Now, okay, please explain.
I think that they're stressed. 68% are stressed while dating because they lied on their profile pic, on their Tinder or Bumbler or whatever the dating apps are, Match.com. And I think that that's what is a cause of stress. Possibly. Because then when they see them, like my friend Josh, I'll never forget.
What if both parties lied?
Well, my friend Josh went on a date, and she was about a 400-pound woman, and he said, "What is this? And he got up and left, but he confronted her
nice.
like, this is a lie. You are fake news. Why would you put on your profile picture this? And he showed her the picture when you look like that.
That's aspirational. That's
Maybe
why
she was identifying as a skinny woman.
That's
but I
why
thought that was rude. He got up and left. I said, that's rude. He goes, no, I just
Yeah.
sent her a message that's not cool.
Did he say that you're fake news? Did he use that line?
No, I swear to God, he used that line. Well, he's in the news business, so yes, he used that line. But
of course he
got up and said, I'm like, so you left an obese woman alone at a dinner table? And he goes, yep, you're darn right I did. Send her a message that she should not. He goes, she lies. So if she lies to me about this, she's going to lie about other things. So I got up and left. Okay. And then she vomited and passed out. No,
Well, look, it could be, right. It could be aspirational. I mean, this is why, like, my, the image that people see if they watch the show on live stream is a picture of Brad Pitt with my mouth, moving, talking. It's aspirational.
You're not ugly. I mean,
Kurt in Lamont, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yep. Morning, both. Thanks for taking the call. So my comment on Scotty Sheffler is, in the words of a Wi-Fi book him Dano. He should have just followed the rules. However, he missed a trick because he could have told the cop that he was with Antifa, and then they would have probably waved him right on Prozac.
Right. Thanks for the
I'm
call,
here to
Kurt.
set up an encampment.
Yeah.
A Gaza encampment, please. Oh, right this way, sir.
Yeah. Free Palestine. You should have started chanting. Yeah. Mike and Hammond.
Hey, thanks for taking my call, Dan. You brought up Rory McIlroy now going to start winning majors. How many do you think Nicklaus would have won if he hadn't been straddled with a wife and 5 kids? And then Amy,
it's unfathomable. Yeah,
Amy,
right.
it's a given that there's going to. I think both sides are lying on these dating apps. I think it's just a given. If you're not lying, you're not trying.
Thanks for the call, Mike. I'm what do you do for a living? Astronaut? Yeah. Oh, really? Yeah, I'm sorry. I got to cut this date short. I just got an emergency call from NASA. Right.
What's the worst excuse you used to get out of a date that you knew was going nowhere and it was not going well?
No, I don't know.
Oh, come on.
No.
You just don't want to admit it.
No, it usually that would get preempted. The other party is looking for the exits and, has an emergency at home.
Well, if you've got kids, that's easy. You can do
a fictional child or animal is sick.
Oh, yeah. My dog is vomiting.
Yeah, a relative just got into a massive car accident or something.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Yeah. So, no, I can't. But I mean, obviously, you're not asking me because you're interested in me. You're asking me because you want to tell us what was the excuse that you used. So please, go ahead.
I've never been on a dating app. I don't, No, I don't have anything for you. I honestly wanted to.
You've never been on a bad date?
Well, yes, I've been on some bad dates, but
okay. So how did you ever cut one short?
The worst one was Kyle Farnsworth. Oh my God, I met him at Ties till 4, and he had on the puka shells, and he started. I had to call him for enforcement. I called Steffi Streff and Mike McGovern and I think John Garcia. I'm like, get over here now and help me out of this.
You should have called Castillo. You'd have come over. Put the cuffs on.
Well, then he started wrestling some guy on the floor. I'm like, all right, this is just, I got to go home.
That was back when he was roiding it up?
Oh, God, now he's really roiding it up. Back then, I don't think he was roiding.
All right. Any other humble brags you want to offer about dating professional athletes? Well, he's not a professional athlete, but he's a celebrity, of course. Yeah. Mario Lopez he cut the date short because he called his mom, right?
Bingo. That was embarrassing, but that's all right. What happens?
Yeah.
What about you? Come on, you don't have anything?
No, I'm here. I want to hear more about your dating celebrities and one or the other cutting it short.
That's it. That's all I got. Except for, you know what, I'm not talking about him. Now go on. Let's go. Oh,
Edward James Olmos.
Oh, stop, please. Okay. Just please.
But you didn't cut that short. That was extended.
No,
I
cut
understand.
That short. No, I cut that short. He took me to his hotel room. I'm like, oh, no, I got to go. Thank you.
Yeah, but that was after you played a little kissy face.
Okay. Honestly, I might vomit or pass out right now.
Well,
can we please stop this? Why did I get into this?
It's PTSD.
I know.
I
know. Okay.
He's
a nice man. All right, okay.
All right. Anybody else?
No. Please just move along, please. I feel nauseous.
John Drury? Anybody else that you want to talk about?
John Drury.
I don't know.
Yeah, we went
in the news
yodeling.
business?
Yeah.
No, that was John. That was Daly.
John Daly. That did. Yeah, I get it
Yeah.
mixed up.
Yeah.
John's over there.
Walter Jacobson, unrelated.
Oh,
Skippy? No.
No, gross.
Warner Saunders?
No. Oh, stop. No, stop that. He was a very dear friend. I love Warner Saunders. And you would have loved him too had you met him.
No, I don't. I mean, I don't have any, I have no opinion.
Rest
I don't
in
know.
peace. All right. Now, what about you? You dated somebody on Fox News. What was her name?
Neil Cavuto.
Great kisser.
Yeah. Northwest Side.
Yeah, thank you for taking my call. Good morning, Dan and Amy.
Mm-hmm.
What we should have there in that Scotty Sheffler case is like in a movie, Tora, where the pilots had to recognize different ships and from their shapes. The police, of course, have to be desensitized. They have to recognize that this car belongs to a guy named Sheffler, and this is what he looks like, and recognize. Or like in a James Bond movies, have a helicopter with a giant magnet come around and pick up the car and with him in and take him over to the tea time area. That's what should have been done. What do you
Exactly
think?
right. Exactly right. Thanks for the call. That was my point. It should have been a police escort, not a police handcuffing incident. Yeah, I mean, if you're Louisville, where's the leadership of the Louisville Police Department to say, here's the top, at least make sure you recognize the top 30 money winners on the tour.
What do you want to hand out pictures to the staff?
Yeah.
When they do their lineups, hey guys, here's
these
are
are
looking for. These are top celebrities. No,
yeah, we got
VIPs.
VIPs.
Time on that.
We got VIPs in town.
Murders to solve.
Murders of all. He's just directing traffic.
Oh well, I mean.
All right. Well, Scotty Scheffler is free, and so is Rory McIlroy. So it should be a good PGA this weekend. Dan and Amy, Chicago's Morning Answer.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Hey, business owners, are you wondering how to grow your business? Do you need cash flow and a ready source for financing? Well, Signature Bank can help. Hi, Mike Gallagher here to let you know that Signature Bank's loan decisions are made locally by a team who knows your name, cares about your business, and is invested in your success. When you need advice about your business or even have a question, Signature Bank is there to help. There are no handoffs or call centers. This is a team that wants to get to know you and your business. That's why Signature Bank in Chicago is my bank. That's right. I'm a customer. When I call, someone picks up the phone on the other end. And with Signature Bank, I can securely bank anywhere, anytime. Reach out to my friends at Signature Bank. Call 773-467-5630. That's 773-467-5630. Or visit them online at signaturebank.bank. Signaturebank.bank. Your business could be Signature Bank's next success story. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
All right. It is coming up, our favorite time of the year, the annual AM 560 golf outing, sponsored by Signature Bank. And this year, we're once again partnering with Tunnel to Towers Foundation. It's a great organization. They help provide for our first responders, military heroes, including our homeless vets.
I gotta interject here. Couple things. One is good point that was made. We got a text. We are part of the Sheffler stories that he would have been driving a courtesy car, which would have had stickers on both sides of the car identifying it as a player's car. That's true. The cop should have seen that. I agree. Also, just putting it out to the Barrington police. When I show up for our golf outing, I will also be in a courtesy car. There will be stickers. If I'm running late, please provide the proper escort for me to the designated tee. All right.
Thank you. And it is Wednesday, June 19th at Barrington Police at the McRae Memorial Golf Club in said Barrington. We have foursomes and twosomes available. And when you join us, you'll have a full day of golf. You'll meet with like-minded people as well. We're going to have over 200 attendees, business owners, decision makers, influencers, Dan Proft, Sean Thompson. So you're going to want to do this. And also, listen to this. You're not only having a fun day of golf, mingling with like-minded people. You're not only helping Tunnel to Towers, but you're also helping your business, because if you own a business or make the marketing decision for your business, we'll give you 25 one-minute commercials to air right here on AM 560 along with a free digital marketing analysis. It's a win-win-win. So sign up now. We have tea times at 7:30 a.m. shotgun start, and also a 1 p.m. afternoon shotgun start. We're starting earlier in the afternoon to get things moving along. We're going to have a buffet lunch and box breakfast and a buffet dinner and all the prizes. Don't miss it. am560theanswer.com/golf. That's am560.com/golf.
Relief Factor, pain relief that's natural, pain relief that works, and pain relief that attacks the source of the pain. That's the experience of tens of thousands of Americans who are taking Relief Factor right now. See their incredible video endorsements at relieffactor.com, and then order your 3-week quick starter pack for just $19.95. That's less than $1 a day. Find out if it can work for you like it works for me by ordering your 3-week quick starter pack today. relieffactor.com, relieffactor.com. Be the next success story.
At Progressive, we know money can't buy happiness. But money did buy your boat, where you find peace fishing, unlike at home with 3 teenage daughters. Because fish never argue about who stole whose crop top, or get mad the other fish used up all the hot water. No, they just swim around, never embarrassed to be seen with you in public. So save money by bundling your boat or RV insurance with home or auto from Progressive. And buy more happiness, or something close to it. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
All right, this spring, as you bust out that grill and get your patio ready for summer barbecues, remember hot dogs, brats, burgers, beer, they don't provide the fruits and veggies that your body desperately needs every day to stay healthy and energized. That's why I've been taking Balance of Nature for nearly a decade. It's so easy to open up the individual capsules and dust them over a salad or mix them into warm water or a juice drink. That's how I do it. And thousands of AM560 listeners love their Balance of Nature, and you will too. 6 capsules a day provides your body, your heart, your mind with over 10 servings of 31 different fruits and vegetables. You can taste them in the capsules. It's wonderful. You'll love it, and your body, mind, and heart will thank you for it as well. So order today by calling 800-246-8751, 800-246-8751. Use coupon code Chicago to save 35% off your first order and free shipping as a preferred customer. 800-246-8751. Call now or order online at balanceofnature.com. Use coupon code Chicago. Balance of Nature fruits and veggies, changing the world one life at a time.
Augustino's Rock and Roll Deli, a family-owned restaurant, a Chicago family favorite for over 40 years. Why? Because they're known for sub sandwiches the size of your forearm. No joke. Their 6-inch sub has more meat and cheese in it than any foot-long in an Irish neighborhood. These sandwiches are iconic, famous for their homemade Italian beef, meatballs, burgers, and, of course, delicious Italian subs loaded with mortadella, cabagol, salami, provolone, and their own secret sauce called Love Potion No. 9. This vinegar and oil dressing is famous on its own. Both Augustino's locations boast walls covered in authentic rock and roll memorabilia and artifacts, all celebrating their love for good old-fashioned rock and roll. Augie's is a feast for your eyes and your stomach. Dine in or carry out. Bring the family or the team. Plus, Augie's caters corporate meetings, parties, and celebrations. Don't make it yourself. Make it happen with Augustino's. Go to Augustinos.com for locations and menus. That's Augustinos.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
In that Augustino's ad that Sean did I just hear him say foot long in an Irish neighborhood? Yeah. There's no foot longs in Irish neighborhoods.
Hey-oh. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Keep it clean. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
By the way, related story since you brought up dating apps.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw it, but the LGBTQIA2S+++++++++ app Grindr.
Yeah.
Prepares move to new Chicago office with plans to expand. That's exciting. See, we're attracting businesses. And my suggestion is that Grindr just co-offices with the Illinois Republican Party because that would help the Illinois Republican Party just sort of vertically integrate. And no, that's not a double entendre.
All right. Thank you, Dan.
Everyone's gay is my point.
Exactly. Yeah. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Especially in the Illinois Republican Party. That's my point. 7:37, we'll talk to DePaul philosophy professor Jason Hill about the end of the encampment, the end of the siege. 7:37.
And wait till you hear from some of those students. But now let's head into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Dan, hang on a minute. One of the reporters on the scene at Valhalla this morning is reporting that 2 other players did exactly what Scotty Sheffler did with official PGA car markings on their cars, went around the accident into Valhalla. Then, according to this report, the police officer noticed the 3rd car, which was Scotty Sheffler's, this morning. Now, this happened this morning at 5 a.m. And that
it's this morning. It wasn't yesterday.
No,
I thought it was yesterday before yesterday's round.
Happened this morning at 5 a.m. And that's when the official went ballistic, the official meaning the Louisville police officer. And at that point, the PGA tweeted out Rule 5.3 in the rules of golf under when to start a round, under provisions of circumstances that prevented you from starting on time. This actually falls underneath it, and there's no breach of rule and no penalty for Scotty Sheffler.
Well, first of all, that cop was probably this could be a Tanya Harding thing. That cop was probably hired by Rory McIlroy to keep Scotty Scheffler from getting into Valhalla.
Jeff Kaluly's behind this.
We're going to blow this whole thing wide open, Mike Scott.
That is actually where all the memes are going right now. It's all Rory. It's all Rory torpedoing Scotty Scheffler this morning. It's kind of funny.
Lengths that guy will go to.
I know.
I mean, unbelievable.
That guy. 7:34 on AM 560, The Answer. And as we've been talking about with you, Scotty Scheffler was detained by Louisville police this morning. The incident comes as the second round of the PGA Championship is being delayed following a separate fatal accident outside the Valhalla Golf Club. Scheffler was booked officially this morning on second-degree assault of a police officer, third-degree criminal mischief, reckless driving, and disregarding traffic signals. He was not involved in the accident, Scheffler, but was placed in handcuffs by what many bystanders are now describing as an overzealous police officer while he tried to drive past the accident site that he had been waiting to try to enter the club for almost 40 minutes. Round 2 is scheduled to begin at this hour at Valhalla. 4 people are dead after severe weather walloped East Texas. Officials in Houston confirmed the deaths last night as power lines, trees, and buildings were knocked down.
We had a storm with 100 miles per hour winds, the equivalent of Hurricane Ike. Considerable damage downtown.
Dozens of Texas counties are still under high risk of warning for flash flooding today. Chicago police are investigating at least 6 business break-ins and burglaries that took place early this morning across the city. The first few took place just after midnight in the 7800 block of Southwestern Avenue. A man shot early this morning outside a Wicker Park neighborhood bar and cafe. It happened around 4 a.m. in front of Estelle's Cafe and Lounge. Chicago police continuing to investigate. Cubs lost to the Pirates in the beginning of their weekend set at Wrigley 5-4, while the White Sox take on the Bronx Bombers at Yankee Stadium tonight. Mike Clevenger on the Hill. The news is a service of Crosscom Public Adjusters. If your home or business has an insurance claim, Crosscom will help you get what you need and have coming to you. They've helped thousands. Crosscom PublicAdjusters.com. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
November 2nd, 2020, marked the 100th anniversary of the first commercial radio broadcast. We're still here, and we're bigger and better than ever. You can still listen to us over this great radio station, but now there are no limitations. Your smartphone is now your smart radio. Listen to us online on the app, TuneIn.com, iHeartRadio, and Odyssey.com. Your smart speaker can find us too. With radio, there is no separation anxiety. We're always on. AM 560, The Answer.
Have you been struggling to find an easy, safe, and secure document scanning solution for Salesforce.com, Microsoft 365, SharePoint, or OnBase by Highland? Your struggle is now over, and it's time to get your documents and operations into the 21st century. With IoT Smart Connected Scanning, it's easy to turn physical paper into digital documents and have them directly uploaded to the cloud with IoT Smart Connected Scanning from IDT. And you don't need a degree in computing or IT to make it happen. Using QR code technology uniquely configured for your specific business, anyone can set the IoT Smart Connected Scanning device up in 5 minutes or less, saving your organization money and valuable time.
Remote employees can even capture documents and send them safely and seamlessly. Organize documents efficiently and securely with IoT Smart Connected Scanning from IDT. To see a demo or to order now, go to ready4idt.com. That's ready4idt.com. Use promo code SMART and receive 10% off your order. IDT, putting paper in its place.
I'm attorney Stephen Leahy. My father was a union iron worker, just like his father, but while he inherited his father's skill, he did not inherit his tolerance for taking orders from union bosses. He needed a change, something that was his, something where he could call the shots. So he started a janitorial company. His company cleaned grocery stores and airplane hangars, dentist office and construction sites, hardware stores and restaurants. As his business expanded, so did the complexity of managing it, especially the taxes. Preparing tax returns requires records, and Dad just never got accustomed to keeping good records. That was a mistake. It cost him his business. Initially, I followed my father and grandfather and became a union iron worker, third generation. I'm very proud of that legacy. Now I'm a tax attorney. I help business owners protect what they've built. Fighting back against the IRS is personal to me. If you own a business and have tax troubles, fight back. Go to fightbacknow.com. That's fightbacknow.com or call 312-664-6649. Become a freedom fighter today.
Balance of Nature supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
The Fiber and Spice is a very effective product. There's no question. A product that is very reliable. It's a very good product.
I swear by these. Probably the best products that I have ever used. I think they're just simply good for your body.
When I used to work, I used to do my art over the weekend all the time. And now I do yard work. I have been doing yard work. I can sweep my floor and make my place look nice. And I take Balance of Nature, and yeah, it feels really good.
Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer. And for a limited time, get 35% off your first order, plus $10 off any additional sets. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
Shop with the experts. A 5-carat certified colorless tennis bracelet is just $1,650 at cleanorigin.com or their retail stores. Mention code radio10 for 10% off. That's cleanorigin.com.
740. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time, a service of Fox Valley Coins. No waiting, no problem, no charge for in-store verbal appraisals. Bring your gold or silver in today, foxvalleycoins.com. The Kennedy, a solid hour. O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. Back out to the big airport in 40. Stevenson, 1 hour in from 355 to DuSable Lakeshore Drive. 34, inbound Dan Ryan, 95th into the Burns Circle interchange. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. Patchy morning fog. In fact, some of it very heavy and dense in the far western and southern suburbs. Visibility's down to 0 in spots. But later today, when the sunshine breaks through, a high of 79 and mainly cloudy and 55 overnight. Fog at O'Hare, fog Midway, fog in Aurora, Joliet. And we're seeing fog at DuPage Airport, Morris, Romeoville, Lansing, almost all reporting stations this morning. Temperatures at 59. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Wait, so I got this whole Scotty Sheffler story. I misunderstood it as we were talking about with Mike Scott. Happened this morning. He was taken into custody.
I told you that. You don't listen to me. It's like we're a married couple. All talking, you don't listen to me. He was taken into custody. That's why I said this Christian man. It's a bad look when he's handcuffed.
I've got his booking photo.
Yeah, I saw he was handcuffed. I read that he was handcuffed, but I thought it was yesterday, and then he was released. And now the video is out. Jeff Darlington at ESPN has posted him being taken into the squad car in cuffs. And then golf.com has his booking photo.
Oh my gosh!
This is a conspiracy between at least Rory McIlroy and the Louisville Police Department. It may be wider than that. Uh-huh. I wonder if Liv had something to do with this.
Yeah, the Kentucky Colonels are at work this morning.
This is crazy. We need to go frame by frame with the body cam footage to distill this all and to make sure that we, because this is another honky professional golfer that's being mistreated by police. I mean, when is enough going to be enough?
Yes.
Right?
Although I did see a good meme this morning. Scotty Sheffler now going to experience what weekend golfers do, showing up at the course 2 minutes before tee time, probably broke a few laws on the way, haven't stretched since 2004, wearing clothes from the night before.
Well, but again, an hour delay getting there because of the accident. That's not on him. It's not like he was playing it last minute.
Nope, not on him.
So Louisville, I'm with Sheffler on this one. Louisville Police Department, what are you doing? What are you doing? Come on. And they let 2 courtesy cars go through, like you said?
That's what I understand. Yes.
The third one was just too much. And maybe he didn't see the first 2 courtesy cars go through. The sergeant on the scene there.
It's always the third courtesy car that gets it.
It is. It's a third time's the charm.
Third player's car that always gets it. Wow.
Well, I think Olympia Fields could probably host the third round if things blow up at Valhalla.
I like that. I like that idea. We could redirect it up north a little bit.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Yeah,
He's just like such a clean-cut guy. It's just so weird seeing him in cuffs. I know. That's how women process this.
We'll have more on this developing story. This is the perhaps the worst abuse of law enforcement power I've ever seen in my life. Perhaps that's ever occurred in the history of. Yeah, I'm
claiming police brutality.
Being facetious here, but I mean, what? Come on, He doesn't say at some point. I mean, I sort of give him credit if he doesn't say it, but he did reach out to like ESPN. Hey guys, can you help me out? You never think he's trying to get into Valhalla. The PGA is there. You don't think that this guy looks like he might be a professional golfer, like he might be the world's #1 professional golfer. Do you have a TV? Are you familiar with the sport of golf? Anyone in the Louisville Police Department?
The people that were on the scene there, I don't think that they were familiar with anyone associated with the PGA.
Well, how do you know? There's a lot of cops on the scene from this video.
I know, but the one that arrested him, I just don't.
There's 3 escorting him to the car, 2, and then there's others milling about. There's all kinds of cop cars around there. Not one Louisville Police Department officer is a golfer. What the hell's wrong with that department? I'm outraged. I may have to lean on our model Hamas friends at DePaul, go down there and set up an encampment.
Oh, yeah. They're
protest this law enforcement abuse. So that got broken up. The DePaul, and we have to move on now, even though I don't really want to. But that DePaul encampment finally got broken up because that school is so courageous.
Yeah, and the students weren't, they're crying, just like the golfer is. Police brutality.
They started violently with batons, destroying the art and the tents. At 5 a.m., the cops violently pulled up with over 100 cop cars and bikes and tore into the camp, raided it as if this wasn't American soil, that this wasn't a bunch of students in there.
I want more color on the art, as well as 100 cars, and bikes. So you mean like one car and a bunch of cops on bikes because they were dealing with you snot-nosed DePaul undergrads.
And the guy during the interview was holding up a piece of art that he created, and his other artwork was destroyed.
Yeah.
And then they came up with they had 5 garbage trucks there, Chicago City garbage trucks, and they just put all that stuff right back in. So all those environmentalists, you're jamming up the landfill.
What was the art? Did he macrame himself a skirt?
No, it was just a painting of Arabic
eyes. I'm actually, that was a rhetorical question. Sorry. I'm really not interested in his art. Jason Hill is a professor of philosophy at DePaul. He's also the author of What Do White Americans Owe Black People? Racial Justice in the Age of Post-Oppression. You can get Jason Hill's writings as well at Jason Damian Hill, that is, jasondamianhill.substack.com. Jason, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Hi, Dan and Amy. It's my pleasure. Thank you.
I'm sure you are perhaps the least surprised faculty member at DePaul at the conduct of the kids there. I mean, we've talked to you about what the slings and arrows you've suffered from faculty and students alike during your time there as a philosophy professor, but your comments on what the model Hamas kids did and how the administration responded.
Well, not just speaking about DePaul, I just think that these encampments, both at DePaul and across the country, they all have the pretense of what I would call a medieval morality play, where the administrators are supposed to be these evil proxies for American imperial interests, and the students are supposed to be agents of good. And that's just nonsense. They're all in cahoots together, the administrators and the students. And what I want to really stress, Dan and Amy, is that when you see Brown University taking the students as proper brokers of power and as negotiators and divesting from Israel, is that their goal really is to normalize the BDS movement, the boycott, divest, and sanction movement against Israel, and to give normalcy to the public that these students are part of a sort of legitimate governance body qualified to engage in negotiations. So all along, the whole idea of DePaul and these other universities permitting these students to trespass and to set up these grotesque encampments, which are aesthetic eyesores, really, means that they're just in cahoots with each other. I mean, the students have always been the pawns of the administration, and it's really to normalize the idea that divesting and boycotting from Israel is okay. It's to normalize and mainstream this idea so that it becomes coin of the realm in the minds of the public.
But what about, my friend's son goes to DePaul, and I said, well, who's in the encampment? He said, half of these people don't even go to school here. So they were taken advantage of by Antifa and BLM members.
Taken advantage of.
Well, I'm just saying,
right.
but he said to me, anybody who wanted to come in to bring a tent could just bring a tent in and set up shop.
I think that's a bunch of malarkey. I think the majority of those encampments were occupied by students. I know this is the case because my classes were half full, and when I inquired to the students, a lot of them said they're part of the encampment. One of my students actually said to me as we were walking out from class, he says, I'm going to find my tribe among the encampment. I said to him, where's your tribe? He said, there are many tribes out there, Professor Hill, and my tribe is a tribe that's devoted to the entire destruction of Israel, not just from Israel. He said, my tribe, well, I won't say what his nationality is because I have to respect the privacy of my students. But this is a private conversation between the two of us. And I was left dumbfounded. He said, have a good day. He said, I'm going to find my group of tents. And my tribe is a tribe that's devoted to the absolute annihilation of Israel. So this is malarkey. This is just, progressives trying to operate on the stealth. They give radicalism a leeway to operate its nefarious agenda.
Wait a second. I was told that all of these model Hamas protesters were anti-war protesters. And now you're telling me they have some sort of irrational animus towards Jews and towards Israel? Boy, that's not what we're hearing from their comm shop, the Chicago and the D.C. press corps, is it?
Well, look at who's the infamous negotiator on campus. It's that terrorist group that terrorized me years ago, the Students for Justice in Palestine,
right?
SJP, which is funded by the AMP, which is funded by Hamas. So DePaul and other universities have about 200 chapters of this terrorist organization, and they've been known at DePaul to terrorize Jewish students and terrorize Jewish organizations. They're Jew haters. They're not just anti-Semitic. And they were and still are the primary so-called power brokers. They're the negotiators trying to negotiate with the administrators about divesting from Israel. The audacity of these people. So it's no secret that they're the main leaders of the demonstrators, the Students for Justice in Palestine. I mean, these groups should be disbanded from all universities. They're terrorist organizations.
Well, instead they said they're going to motivate and make the DNC a really bad place here, this 15 seconds.
We will have tens of thousands of people in the streets of Chicago that week. It will be the largest mobilization for Palestinian rights in the history of this city.
So do you think yesterday was just a pregame for what's going to happen during the DNC?
Oh, I think we're going to see mayhem and chaos, and we'll just see what that recalcitrant, mayor of ours, who's just so like the previous mayor, guilty of dereliction of duty, a facilitator of so much that is nefarious in the city. We'll just see what he does if he forbids us from calling them what they are: hoodlums, dogs, from parading through the street, blocking passage. I mean, no one has a right to. You don't have a right to protest. You have a right to peaceful assembly on the property, on your own property, on the property of your adherents. But no one has the right to block public passage and to clog the streets. I hope they're all arrested, thrown in jail. But that probably won't happen. It'll probably be mayhem. They'll probably block the passage to O'Hare Airport. Mm-hmm. This is exactly what's going to happen. We know what's going to happen, right? And we know what the response is going to be from the corrupt Chicago politicians, political agents. We already know this.
I wanted to get your reaction, too, because we had this conversation with Heather McDonald earlier in the week, too, that, this solidarity and marginality play that is always attendant to these identitarian power grabs, whether it's on campus, the specific college campuses or the one big college campus that Americans all live on these days. Ayanna Pressley, Frances Parker Spice of the Socialist Spice Girls, the educated at the August Francis Parker High School in Chicago, now cue ball representative for in the state of Massachusetts. I always think of that Phil Hartman as Sinatra in that Saturday Night Live skit when he said to Sinead O'Connor, "I look at you and I think 8-ball corner pocket." That's what I think of when I look at Ayanna Pressley. But anyway, there was a hearing this week on the problems within FDIC in terms of sexual harassment and what the top officers at FDIC did or didn't do. And this is how Ayanna Pressley approached that hearing, because the head of FDIC is a old white honky, and the issue is sexual harassment. So she started with the female identity politics and then went to the race identity politics.
There is not one woman on this panel, and I almost walked out just on the strength of that. But the only reason why I didn't is because that is a systemic issue here in Congress and often for people who come before this committee. And if you don't have one woman in a position of leadership and authority that should be there, then that is also a problem. But again, women, I am so tired of white men failing up. This lack of accountability is a shameful, inadequate, and deeply unsatisfactory, and it is re-traumatizing. Chair Gruenberg?
Yeah, so, I mean, just the typical sort of, rather than addressing the substance of the particular issue in that particular agency, it's got to be force-fed through the prism of identity politics. This is what they do. This is what we're seeing on campus. This is why you have the silliness of queers for Palestine and so forth. This is all part of the larger cultural play by these new Marxist leaders and their useful idiot friends.
Well, the first thing that somebody should have asked her to do is to identify a woman. Like, how does she know?
Exactly.
Does she have some sort of epistemic privilege of knowing that any of those white men on the panel don't secretly identify as a woman?
Yeah,
I mean, someone should ask to define what do you mean by a woman? Can you give us a definition of a woman?
That would be good.
Messed up her head.
Yeah.
But the idea, of course, that you need someone of the same sex or gender to represent is so un-American, right? We adhere to a set of policies and principles, and you don't need someone of the gender or the sex to be a vehicle or a representative of those policies and principles. And she, of all persons, should be the last to speak about discrimination when so much that comes out of that woman's mouth is so heinous and Marxist and left-wing, nefarious left-wing propaganda, and she's allowed to get away with it with impunity. So you're right. It's part of the radical identitarian politics that we see that makes no sense actually when you talk about queers for Palestine and fat people for Palestine and gays for Palestine. It blows the mind because these are individuals who would be killed on entrance into Gaza, hung from or pushed off of buildings. But they're not thinking. They're not really thinking this through because the real agenda is something much, much more nefarious, and that is they're nihilists who really want to change the political, as I said, the political DNA of this country, and to introduce a Marxist government in America.
Sorry to interrupt. Jason Hill, professor of philosophy at DePaul, author of What Do White Americans Owe Black People? Racial Justice in the Age of Post-Oppression. Get Jason's writings at his Substack, jasondamienhill.substack.com. Jason, thanks as always.
Thanks, Dan.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Parents, grandparents, you might want to be sitting down because this is amazing news. Imagine the student in your family not asking you for money to pay for college, or better yet, not getting into years and years of debt. How's this possible? Scholarships.com, a trusted and widely used scholarship platform that helps your student find scholarships and navigate the financial aid process. Get help to pay for college through a personalized list of scholarships that your student actually qualifies for. Better yet, every scholarship is vetted to ensure accuracy. And now the best part, drum roll please, it's absolutely free. Go to scholarships.com today. Both students and parents can join for free. And within minutes, receive your list of personalized scholarship matches. Check out the wealth of information and resources available at no cost. And read the fantastic reviews from other scholarship winners. Scholarships.com has helped over 23 million students and families find scholarships to help pay for college. And will help you too. Join scholarships.com today for free. That's scholarships.com.
AM 560. The Answer.
You guys,
Sheffler's been charged with assault.
Right.
What?
He's been charged with felony second-degree assault on a police officer, third-degree criminal mischief, reckless driving, disregarding signals from officers, directing traffic.
Say his name, Scotty Sheffler.
And the mug
Say
shot
his
is
name.
great. He's already
Scotty Sheffler. Free Scotty Sheffler.
8 a.m. WIND Chicago.
Police in Louisville, Kentucky are teed off at the world's #1 golfer. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Scotty Sheffler arrested this morning for what happened on his way to the course for round 2 of the PGA Championship, a major golf tournament that was delayed after there was a deadly crash near the course when a shuttle bus hit a pedestrian.
ESPN reporter Jeff Darlington, who actually witnessed the entire incident, saying it happened, quote, after his attempt to drive past a police officer into Valhalla Golf Club. Now, Darlington goes on to say, quote, the police officer then began to scream at Sheffler to get out of the car. When Sheffler exited the vehicle, the officer shoved Sheffler against the car and immediately placed him in handcuffs.
Fox's Todd Pyro. There's a mugshot of Scotty Sheffler now posted on the Louisville Corrections website with an inmate number as the golfer faces several charges. Drama in the House. A Republican congresswoman got into a shouting match with some Democrats who were upset that Marjorie Taylor Greene asked Jasmine Crockett if her fake eyelashes are affecting her reading. Then, after they were all admonished by Chairman James Comer, Crockett's reply:
if someone on this committee then starts talking about somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body, that would not be engaging in personalities, correct?
What now?
Shouldn't
I had
strike
no
those
idea
words.
what you just said.
So you don't want to talk about
Order.
I'm trying to get clarification.
Look, calm down.
All that before House Republicans voted in the Oversight and Judiciary Committees to hold Attorney General Merrick Garland in contempt of Congress for not handing over recordings of President Biden's interview with Special Counsel Robert Hur in the classified documents investigation. The president has asserted his executive privilege blocking that. There's a lot of damage and some flooding around Houston.
We had a storm with 100 miles per hour winds.
Mayor John Whitmire says it was like a hurricane. 4 people were killed. Louisiana was also hit. There are more than 900,000 power outages in those 2 states, Texas and Louisiana. America's listening to Fox News.
8:02 on AM 560, The Answer. We have sunshine officially at O'Hare, but heavy fog throughout much of the area with visibilities down to under a quarter mile, 0 in spots in the far south and western suburbs. Chicago police are investigating at least 6 business break-ins and possible burglaries that took place early this morning just after midnight, starting in the 7800 block of Southwestern Avenue. And Chicago police say a man was shot early this morning just outside of a Wicker Park neighborhood bar and cafe. The man was shot twice in the abdomen around 4 a.m. in front of Estelle's Cafe and Lounge in the 2000 block of West North Avenue. A pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas encampment at DePaul University is now gone. No protesters or officers were injured during the clearing of the Lincoln Park campus, but 2 people were arrested afterward for blocking traffic.
Police department, along with DePaul University, as we approached, we had videographers with us, Department of Law. There's no confrontations. Like I said, as we approached, all the subjects voluntarily left the area.
Lame Duck Cook County State's Attorney Kim Fox is considering a policy of not prosecuting some drug and gun cases tied to routine traffic stops. GOP candidate for Cook County State's Attorney Bob Fioretti says if elected, that policy ends day one.
We do not need 2 defense attorneys in the courtroom, and that's what she's making it happen.
There's been no official comment yet from Democrat candidate Eileen O'Neill Burke. Cubs dropped the first game of their long weekend set with the Pirates 5-4 at Wrigley. White Sox in the Bronx taking on the Yankees later tonight. Xander Schauffele sitting on top of the leaderboard after one round of the 2024 PGA Championship. Schauffele tying the 18-hole scoring record in a major championship after shooting 9 under 62. The news, a service of Woodland Windows and Doors in Roselle. Brighten your home this summer and make the rooms in your house look bigger with fiberglass replacement windows by Infinity from Marvin. Schedule an appointment by June 30th for 10% off installation. Visit woodlandwindows.com today. 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. It is a service of Signature Bank. Visit signaturebank.bank for all your commercial banking needs. Now the latest from the Fox Business Network.
I'm Liz Clayman, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Meme stocks AMC and GameStop are both higher this morning. It appears the stocks will finish the week substantially higher than where they started. Coming into today's session, AMC shares are up 59% over the past 5 days. GameStop is 58% higher than a week ago. The revival of meme stock trading has helped trading platform Robinhood Markets. Its shares are up 10% this week. Shoppers are back to buying shoes in person, especially from Skechers. The athletic footwear brand says sales involving retailers were up nearly 10% in the recent quarter from a year ago. And Daimler Truck and Volvo Group will form a joint venture to develop software-based manufacturing that will build digitized heavy-duty vehicles. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola, invested in you.
This radio station is always on, but sometimes you need more content that you can take with you anywhere. That's why we invented the SalemPodcastNetwork.com. You'll find all the great hosts on this radio station, plus a few more, like Charlie Kirk, Dinesh D'Souza, Trish Regan, Jenna Ellis, and Dennis and Julie. There's literally no end to what we can teach you. It's like radio on demand, and just like radio, it's always on. Go find out what you're missing. Download the app, SalemPodcastNetwork.com.
When your home or business has an insurance claim, the next step is very important. The claim process with insurance can be tedious, hard to understand, and difficult to navigate. You need someone working for you. You need a licensed claim adjuster. Why? The insurance company will send out their inspectors that work for them, get paid by them, and represent them, not you.
This is Dan Lights from Crosscom. We inspect your property, file your claim, negotiate the damages, and maximize your settlement with your insurance company. If we complete the repairs approved by your insurance company, our service is free. Crosscom Public Adjusters has turned denied claims into approved claims. We've also increased insurance claims anywhere from 23 to 1,000%. We are licensed by the Department of Insurance and work in Illinois, Northwest Indiana, and Southern Wisconsin. Crosscom Public Adjusters, 630-871-5500. Online at CrosscomInc.com. That's CrosscomInc.com. Crosscom, building trust for over 20 years.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
It is absolutely the best product we've ever used, no question.
I would take it daily. You just woke up in the morning and felt great.
Well, I'm in my 90s. I was so impressed with it that I bought all my children that. I have 4 children, and they all got a shipment of it. It's a great product. Yes, I love it.
Start your journey with Balance of Nature supplements. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer. And for a limited time, get 35% off your first order, plus $10 off any additional sets with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
Hey, if you want a firearm that is easy to transport, you got to check out the U.S. Survival Rifle from our friends at Henry Repeating Arms. Now, it is a portable rifle that you can put together, take apart in just minutes, and then when you're not using it, you can store the parts in the little case that it comes in. It's so small you can store it pretty much anywhere, and it's light enough to carry everywhere. Now, it comes in black and 2 different camo patterns, and you can pick one up for $300 to $400 depending on the finish. Check out their videos. Go to their website. It's one word, henryusa.com/survival. And while you're there, make sure you order their free catalog. Now, Henry makes more than 200 rifles and shotguns and revolvers, all made in America, all backed by a lifetime satisfaction guarantee and the best customer service in the business. Go to their website, henryusa.com. Get their free catalog. They'll send you free decals and a list of dealers where you are. That's henryusa.com. Free catalog decals for the Henry U.S. Survival Rifle.
8:09, let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. Not bad on the inbound Kennedy. 55 minutes, O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. Stevenson stop and go inbound, Harlem to Kedzie. Dan Ryan in, slow in the locals between 51st up through 18th. Jam-ups and slowdowns on the Tri-State northbound between Roosevelt and the Ike merge, and the Reagan slowing up eastbound right at Roosevelt. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. In our ReviveYourLawn.com Weather Center, here's Steve Williams.
Patchy fog around the area this morning, otherwise partly sunny. Our high today, 79. Cloudy tonight, low 55. Warm day tomorrow, clouds and sun, high 83. And then sunny, nice day on Sunday, the high 80. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 62 degrees. A heavy, dense fog in the area. Drive with care. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Well, the world's #1 golfer, Scotty Sheffler, has been booked, processed, and released. Prison bus dropped him off at Valhalla so he can play in the major today.
Did you see his mugshot? I mean, he had an orange jumpsuit on and like a V-neck so you could see some chest hair. And
He's gone from the choir boy of the PGA to the bad boy now. If I was him, I would wear the orange jumpsuit to play today.
Oh, my God.
Totally lean into it, man.
Sewing a collar there so you have a collared shirt still.
This is
this is
crazy.
Assaulting a police officer? What the heck happened?
Well, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense because they said he stopped the car, he got out, he was immediately handcuffed, and the cop said to the ESPN reporters that were within shouting distance, he's going to jail. But maybe this was Scotty Sheffler AI. This wasn't really Scotty Sheffler.
Oh, so you're thinking that this is all AI generated?
It could be. You know, it's hard. So. This could be a metaverse thing. You know, I can't keep track of all this. This is going to be rather than my evil twin did it. Now it's going to be my AI did it. Oh. It's interesting because actually Sam Altman, who is the 11-year-old CEO of OpenAI, he was asked recently about this idea of personalized AI companions of the future being used in court against the actual person. Listen to this exchange. It's fascinating. Now there's a fail-safe on this of sort, but just listen to this exchange. It's mind-bending.
I can imagine this future in which, if you want, you have a personalized AI that knows, that has read every email, every text, every message you've ever sent or received, has an access to a full recording of your life, knows every document you've ever looked at, every TV show you've ever read, everything you've ever said or heard or seen, like all of your bits of input in and out. And you can imagine that would be a super helpful thing to have. You can also imagine the privacy concerns that would present. And I think if we stick on that frame and not say, well, should AI be able to train on this data or that data, but how are we going to navigate the privacy versus utility versus safety trade-offs or security trade-offs that come with that? And what does it even mean? Do we need a new definition of privileged information so that your AI companion never has to testify against you or can't be subpoenaed by a court? I don't even know what the problems are going to be.
I mean, could you imagine? He's a really sharp guy. He actually is asking all the right questions, but I just love the idea that, I call Dan Proft AI to testify against Dan Proft. Of course, there's there is a safeguard against that. Only human beings have standing in court, despite what PETA wants, to have killer whales have standing in court. Only human beings do. So that's not likely to happen. But I mean, it does speak to this uncharted territory we are now in. Speaking of OpenAI, which is the company that I mentioned, Sam Altman is the CEO of, they have just rolled out GPT 4.0, new flagship model, which can reason across audio, vision, and text in real time. And here's a little demonstration by somebody at OpenAI.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey there. It's going great. How about you? I see you're rocking an OpenAI hoodie. Nice choice. What's up with that ceiling, though? Are you in a cool industry-style office or something?
Well, can you take a guess at what I might be doing based on what I'm showing you here?
From what I can see, it looks like you're in some kind of recording or production setup. With those lights, tripods, and possibly a mic, it seems like you might be gearing up to shoot a video or maybe even a live stream.
Yeah. In fact, we've got a new announcement to make.
That's exciting. Announcements are always a big deal. Judging by the setup, it looks like it's going to be quite the professional production. Is this announcement related to OpenAI, perhaps?
It is. And in fact, what if I were to say that you're related to the announcement, or that you are the announcement?
Me? The announcement is about me? Well, color me intrigued. Are you about to reveal something about AI? Or more specifically about me as a part of OpenAI? You've got me on the edge of my, well, I don't really have a seat, but you get the idea. What's the big news?
Yeah, we've got a new model that can interact with the world through audio, vision, and text.
I mean,
I'm scared now.
The way that the AI talks to him, flirtatious and so conversational, it's wild. There's competitors, obviously, in this space. So Google just provided a demo of its multimodal AI assistant on your phone, augmented with reality glasses. And you really have to see the demo, but it's fascinating. They basically just have a phone scanning an office space, and then this conversation. Justin, play that, will you? Do we have that?
Do we have it?
Okay, let's do some tests. Tell me when you see something that makes sound.
I see a speaker, which makes sound.
What is that part of the speaker called?
That is the tweeter. It produces high-frequency sounds.
Give me a creative alliteration about these.
Creative crayons color cheerfully. They certainly craft colorful creations.
What does that part of the code do?
This code defines encryption and decryption functions. It seems to use AES-CBC encryption to encode and decode data based on a key and an initialization vector, ID.
That's right. What neighborhood do you think I'm in?
This appears to be the King's Cross area of London. It is known for its railway station and transportation connections.
Do you remember where you saw my glasses?
Yes, I do. Your glasses were on the desk near a red apple.
Wow. All right, that's good. I mean, it's really wild. In addition to the sapience, the sentency of AI, it's you can understand why it's both exciting and scary at the same time. For more on this, we're pleased to be joined by Frank Diana. He's principal futurist at Tata Consultancy Services. He writes at frankdiana.net. Frank, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Well, those are some exciting demonstrations of the development of AI technology. I mentioned, I think Sam Altman is asking the right questions about these trade-offs between competing goods. What's your perspective on where AI is and what the question, in addition to maybe what Altman presented, what are some of the questions we should be asking ourselves?
Well, first, I love the fact that you use the term mind-bending, because that's clearly where we find ourselves today. The examples you showed, and we can answer that, because what you described, when it's embedded in a humanoid robot, actually expands the possibility space. Now you've got humanoid robots that can operate in unstructured environments, because as you could see from those clips you shared, they know what their environment is. They can sense what they have to do in that environment. So it's going to expand. And as it expands, that mind-bending notion is going to get more intense. And so, yes, we need to start thinking about where historically, when we've been in periods like this, they've traditionally always gone in two directions, a very positive direction for society and a somewhat negative direction. And so it's really incumbent upon society to manage the past, because there are so many positive things that these innovations can lead to in the health space and just a number of different domains. And then obviously when you start thinking about bias and privacy and some of the things that we have to be worried about, there's that path as well. So one of the things I like to think about is, where are we as a society? Can we manage this path? And there's a lot of questions underlying that.
Well, I mean, this is if this goes sideways, this isn't like the laser disc. This is so infinitely more powerful that the potential pitfalls are essentially bottomless, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, yes, we are in a phase where we really have no historical precedent to look at. Yes, we can make some comparison, but the potential is so much more vast today that both, again, in the positive context and the negative, the possibility space is endless.
Well, and I don't look at like some of these guys like Sam Altman. I don't think he's some sort of evil genius. He's probably a genius in this space, but I think he's, well intended, but that's not going to be good enough. Asking the right questions, yes, and then thinking about the guardrails. And I know there's been debate that is ongoing about sort of international rules of the road versus a country by country regime. Well, how should we be thinking about guardrails? Where should we have discussions at least about lines being drawn?
Well, I think it starts with high-risk areas. So any discussion around policy, guardrails, regulation really starts with those high-risk areas. And I mentioned a couple, like the biases and privacy, et cetera, that we need to focus on. But we have to accept that we're in a period of great uncertainty and things are evolving rapidly, which means that any approach we take has to be thoughtful and it has to be adaptive, flexible in regards to knowing that the change is happening rapidly. So I just don't believe we're at a place where anything definitive can happen, because it is going to change so aggressively.
Well, is the government or any entity overseeing this growth?
Well, that's the big issue, right? There's no real, no central authority that can actually govern this. Let's look back to the post-World War II era, when we saw a big problem and we created institutions that have, at least to date, helped us manage that problem. But we don't have that today, right? And so my big concern is the fragmentation in approach. One block in the world goes in one direction, another block goes in a different direction, right? You can't solve those challenges unless you've got something that is a global body that governs.
Maybe the answer is sort of right in front of us and we don't see it. Maybe the answer is just apply the constitutional guardrails to AI like we do to actual human beings, such that, you talk about biases. Well, if you allow for a competitive marketplace and if Google's AI wants to provide stilted information from a particular political point of view, for example, well, then there's opportunities for somebody else to provide a competing AI that plays it closer down the middle, or that provides a conservative lens, just like a media outlet, on information that is of a political or historical nature, just to use that one sector as an example. Maybe it's just to look at this through the restraints on government that we have as enshrined in our Bill of Rights and the rights and responsibilities contained in the rest of our founding documents.
Yeah, it's an approach. I think the bigger challenge, though, is let's just say that scenario you just described plays out. The misinformation, disinformation, deepfakes, the potential to just completely undermine trust in society is a real challenge. Another one of those high-risk areas that really needs attention. So, yeah, we can use the Constitution to kind of manage this, but I just think the opportunity for disinformation is so high today that it's a challenge in and of itself.
Well, what about the issue that concerns a lot of people as well, as you're seeing this come online in retail environments, job displacement?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just in terms of addressing that, I mean, is the sort of wide range of estimates about X% of jobs in this particular industry are going to be obsolete, at least in terms of obsolete for human beings. I mean, is the scale such that some of these predictions about revolutionary changes in particular industries that eliminate significant portions of the human workforce, are those realistic?
Well, I think more realistic than any time in the past. But anything, I just find it all to be guesswork. There's just so much uncertainty in terms of where all this is going that it's very difficult for anyone to really predict the implications to jobs. There's a polarized discussion that goes on, right? Many people believe that historical precedent says we've been here before and we always come out of it better than we were prior, right? But that was a very different time. People kind of leave out the part about years and years of human misery that was in place before we came out on the other side, right? So it's hard to predict and project. But that scenario I just gave you in terms of humanoid robots accelerating on the back of these generative AI platforms is going to bring humanoid robots into this mix. And so now jobs that you might not have considered being displaced are likely to be displaced at some point, right? And so those are just scenarios at this point. It's just rehearsing the future. It's not predicting that future.
It's as long as radio talk show hosts are protected. I mean, that's, I think, the most important thing for all of us.
No guarantees for anything.
I think we can agree on that. And who do you think, if you have perspective on this, of the competing big tech companies, who and tech entrepreneurs, who do you think is doing it best right now? Is there anybody that you say you should watch, Sam Altman at OpenAI or the guys at Google or whoever?
No, I don't know that I really have a perspective on that in terms of who's doing it best, because I think they're all dealing with the same challenges, right? It's at this point, I hate to use the term arms race, but that's what it is, in effect, that they're all one-upping one another. And I think the pressure and the funding being thrown at this to continue to move it is just accelerating things even more. So I just don't think there's a good answer to that question.
Frank Diana's principal future says Tata Consultancy Services, writes at frankdiana.net. Frank, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer.
Your show keeps me alive during the week. There's nobody I'd rather listen to between 5 and 9 in the morning than you guys.
On AM 560, The Answer. From breaking news and weather across the country to insight from the brightest minds in conservative opinion, it's Salem News Channel. Home to the biggest shows on TV, like Dennis Prager weekdays at noon Eastern, followed by Jay and Jordan Sekulow at 2. Join SNC, where facts are sacred, critical thinking is celebrated, and the pursuit of truth is unwavering. Watch Salem News Channel free now on Xumo Play. Learn more at snc.tv/Xumo. AM 560. Answer.
Open mic! Open mic Friday! Call in now! Open mic Friday!
Yes, it's that time of the morning and the week. Open Mic Friday. Taking your calls 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro. Answer line 64636DA, turnkey.pro. Text line. Take your comments, your concerns, your compliments, your criticisms, and your general crack pottery. And we will, of course, have a deep dive on the plight of Scotty Sheffler, outlaw golfer.
Are you going to start a GoFundMe for his defense fund?
No, we're going to have to go down there and protest. But now we got to protest in the proper fashion for this sector, which is polite golf clapping. It's not going to be chanting. It's not going to be encampments. We're all going to be Natalie attired with, proper decorum and golf clapping on behalf of Scotty Sheffler.
Got a text message real quick. Louisville can say goodbye to ever hosting another PGA golf tournament. Imagine what the owners of this course are thinking.
It's like a scene out of Clear and Present Danger. You know, the first two cars get through, and then the third car gets hit with a rocket launcher. David Kolsak kicks us off because, of course, Turnkey.pro is the sponsor of Open Mic Friday, and David Kolsak is the founder of Turnkey.pro. David?
Well, good morning. I don't have any Scotty Sheffler stories, but I do have somewhat of a similar athlete. I did a search yesterday, simply two names, Tucker Carlson and Aaron Rodgers. Here's some of the headlines that came up. Aaron Rodgers joins the sad list of celebrity Putin worshippers. Here's another one. Aaron Rodgers floats conspiracy theory about Pat Tillman's death. Aaron Rodgers praises Vladimir Putin as smart in the Tucker Carlson interview. So I had to go and find the interview and watch it. It's 2 hours long, and I want to underscore that these ideas that he said are from Aaron Rodgers, and he owns them in this interview. To begin with, I've never really been a fan of Aaron Rodgers due to many factors, of course, mostly because he beat our brains in, right? I think he's something like 24-5 against the Bears. So I didn't like him, and especially when he taunted Bears fans every time he came to Soldier Field. But I have to say, when he came out anti-vax, people started to listen to what he was saying, maybe not for the stance, but rather for his courage. Again, remember that time. Remember the propaganda, and remember the pressure on everybody to fall in line. Aaron Rodgers did not fall in line, and instead he went the other way. So whatever you might think about him, he was and is courageous. One of the things that he mentions in the interview is he's got a lot more compassion for people today as there's so much fear out there, and he believes he's doing his part along with Rogan, Tucker himself, and even Chris Cuomo, who reversed course and admitted he was vaccine injured and even taking ivermectin.
He didn't really say he was vaccine injured. He sort of walked that back, but okay.
Did he? He said long COVID, I think. But
yeah, right.
Rodgers said that he asked a lot of questions surrounding the COVID response, and they were all lied to. And he's sympathetic to people who took vaccines. Rodgers wants people not to feel guilty about taking a vaccine that they were duped into taking. But it's interesting that he was so conciliatory towards the same people who ostracized him for being anti-vax. Does anyone who didn't get the vax regret not getting the vax? And he said no. That he didn't think so. But clearly both Tucker and Rodgers seemed like they wanted to bring people together. Rodgers made the assertion that if they called it an experimental gene therapy, no one would have taken it. So they changed the definition of the word vaccine. And when Bobby Kennedy Jr. asked him to be his VP running mate, Aaron Rodgers said, "Are you serious? I'm just a friggin' football player." He didn't say friggin', but he considered it. All throughout that interview, he seemed very patriotic and wanting to have a simpler time where we just dream big and keep things real. Rodgers makes the point that Donald Trump had 4 years to drain the swamp, but he didn't. He says it's time for a guy like RFK Jr. They further went on to talk about the circumstances of JFK's assassination in the 60s and how questionable those circumstances were. Even talked about his own grandfather telling him that Roosevelt knew about the attack on Pearl Harbor and he did nothing. So that stuck with Aaron Rodgers and made him question things throughout his life. He talked about Pat Tillman and the strange events surrounding his friendly fire death in Afghanistan after he left the NFL and joined the armed forces after 9/11. Rodgers said that they burned Tillman's uniform and they took his personal journal. He also said that Tillman, that once he got over there, said it was not what he signed up for. Guarding poppy fields wasn't his thing. Again, I have to admire Rodgers' courage to say exactly what he thinks because he's not afraid of being canceled. It's quite refreshing. He states clearly how he wonders how many more Epsteins are out there blackmailing others. And he even ties Ghislaine Maxwell to Mossad. He has no fear. Rodgers even talked about aliens and UFOs and that the government has technologies that they're not revealing to us. And in the end, we're in a battle between good and evil and that there are supernatural forces at work. And the government believes that the people are not ready for that type of disclosure. But Rogers thinks the disclosure needs to happen, and he speculates that he doesn't know how it'll be done, but it's going to have to be done at one point. This is kind of where it gets interesting. One of the times he makes this admission that he's gotten into plant-based medicine, and this might be where some of the ideas come from. But I would rather characterize plant-based medicine as taking hallucinogenic mushrooms. He says it made him closer to the earth and more compassionate in general. At one point, he said that Dan Proft could probably benefit from that therapy.
Is that right? No, he did. He mentioned me by name. He's always pimping me. Mm-hmm.
But anyway, he said that both times he won the MVP, he was engaged in that activity, and there are a lot of professional athletes interested in what he's taking. So Rogers praised Tucker for his interview with Putin, said great things about the Russian leader, specifically that Putin was smart. He said he would love to see Biden give a speech like Putin did on the history of his country and the values that he embodies. But not only did he praise Putin, but he also gave high marks to Julian Assange, Edward Snowden. Those guys are his heroes because they're exposing corruption. He mentioned that there are very good people in the alphabet organizations like the CIA, but that the heads of the leaders of those organizations are really corrupt and inept. He talked about diet, exercise, being healthy, and fasting for 5 days. He's been to dark camps where he sits in complete darkness for days. Whatever you might say about him, you can't say he's soft. This guy has more self-discipline than anybody I've ever met, and really an interesting person. And after listening to him, I can see why he's so polarizing to some. Aaron Rodgers kind of sums it up at the end in saying that the evil elites took it a bit too far, and it really woke people up, and the people are not going to take it much longer. I wanted to not like him, but I ended up finding him to be really calm, introspective, and authentic. And as we've talked about before, being authentic is really attractive to people in general. What's more is that you've got two very popular people having a long-form conversation that's gone completely viral. And as more people watch, the more they start asking questions and waking up in droves. And that's the last thing that people in charge want. So if you've got a little time, go look at that interview. It's really quite refreshing. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, David, for that. Yeah, the philosophy of Aaron Rodgers. I mean, I think he's an interesting guy. I don't have any animus against him for pounding the Bears for as many years as he did. Probably do it again with the Jets if they meet. But anyway,
oh, that's right. He's still playing. I forgot.
He is, but
how his jersey sales are.
The whole thing is sort of like RFK Jr. Because you're over the target on one thing doesn't mean you're over the target on everything. So I mean, a lot of that riff. Yeah, I mean, I haven't watched it yet. I saw that it posted, but I haven't watched it yet. I will. But by the way, saying Putin is a smart guy is not necessarily praising him. I think Putin's a smart guy. I also think he's a diabolical tyrant. That's not praise. You can be smart and diabolical. You can be smart and philanthropic. You can be smart good, smart bad. So smart is the beginning of a conversation, not the end of one in terms of a characterization of somebody. Then you go to character, which is what actually matters. So, yeah, okay. I mean, I'll watch it. All right, now back to Scotty Sheffler.
Yes. You're chomping at the bit.
So I got this, let's see, I got a tweet about this because I'm sort of taking a hard line on the police here. Eagle has landed, tweeted, let's not make the police the bad guys here. They told him to stop. He ignored it and drove around them into a crime scene. Is that,
crime scene?
He didn't drive around them into a crime. The bus accident didn't happen at the entrance of Valhalla.
Well, it happened near it. I mean, there were
near.
Yeah.
And the other cars got in, and more cars got in subsequent, I'm sure, because they've got a PGA major there, which Louisville police would have known, of course. Not to mention, there are different rules for professional golfers, and there should be. They are our betters, the professional golfers, the PGA, and so in exigent circumstances, they are able to flout traffic laws. That is how it should be.
Oh, my. Well, look at you. Law and order guy until it comes to golf.
Well, there's always an exception that proves every rule. And the exception is Scotty Sheffler. If you're the number one golfer in the world.
And such a good guy, Bible studies, was going to leave the Masters if his wife's water broke.
Obviously, I'm being facetious, but there is a thing here, like, I mean, really, assault and third degree. This I don't know. I haven't seen it, But the reporting is, and there were eyewitnesses there, like the ESPN reporters. I don't really hear anything that's like assaulting an officer because he drove into an area that they didn't want him to drive in. Then they told him, or like pounded on the car, told him to stop his car. He stopped the car. He got out. Then he gets arrested. Where's the assault?
That's the thing. We don't know. We're looking for. Well, at least I am looking for more details on this.
And again, I don't. Did he see the police? Did he see what was cordoned off? Could he have stopped and just said, or flagged down an officer, said, I'm Scotty Sheffler, and then apparently he would have to explain who he is to these people. But I got to, or I'm a guy, I got to play in this tournament here. There's this professional golf tournament. I shot 68 yesterday. I probably need to shoot another 68 today to be in contention for the weekend. And explain all that and then let him in. But if it's right that these other courtesy cars went in, then obviously they were making an exception to allow golfers into the course, which makes eminent sense. I don't know. This sounds like an officer got ticked off and he had a bit of a knee-jerk reaction and an over one at that. That's what I think. That's my intuition on it.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. You can also reach us at 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment.
Prime Minister Kevin, Ogden Dunes, Indiana.
Oh, Dan and Amy, I'm so upset about this arrest. It's lucky little Scotty Sheffler wasn't driving an electric car. It could have been assault and battery.
I was waiting for it. All right, go ahead, Prime Minister.
But I agree with you that we missed the era when men were men. Even with your raging ED and your penile macular degeneration epidemic in your Windy City, your most wonderful Kim Fox, she's still hard at work, being soft on crime.
Oh, my gosh.
First, she refused the railroad that noted thespian and proud professional victim, the unjustly accused Jesse Small It. And now Fox finds her forgiving heart to force those pesky policemen to ignore the stolen property and gun infractions that will be revealed from Scotty Sheffler's traffic stop. Amy, could you relay to Miss Fox that we in Irish have a school policy for some of the rough and tough school districts of Dublin? Before letting anyone in, we check them for guns and knives. And if they don't have any, we give them some.
All right,
yesterday,
come on, Prime Minister. I know you're waiting. I know you've got the applause thing on your teleprompter, but let's speed it up here.
Yesterday, on your very offensive show, you made all the true Irish gentlemen wince with pain with your campus Palestinian protesters asked to be stepping up and donating a testicle to enable a lady to transition. This reminded me, why did the Antifa campus protester wear a three-piece pinstripe suit to his vasectomy?
Why did the Antifa protester wear a three-piece pinstripe suit to his vasectomy?
If he was going to be impotent, he wanted to look impotent.
Hi-oh! All right, Prime Minister, thank you.
Oh, my God.
I think we hit our 3-joke limit with the Prime Minister.
We must move on, but we do appreciate you, Prime Minister.
And again, we'll prioritize Scotty Sheffler calls because PGA professionals are our betters. Tom in Palos Heights.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. I would like to make a comment about the person that you talked to with the artificial intelligence. I know you talked to him in the past. I wasn't able to get through to you, though. The question I have for you, and I think he's on to something, this artificial intelligence, but I like to hear them focus more to finding out how to cure cancer. And can they do that somehow with this artificial intelligence?
Yeah, actually, we didn't get into it, but that's a good question. Thanks for the call, Tom. And when he made the reference to healthcare, he's not just talking about sort of the administration of hospitals and so forth. There is and I talked about this to somebody who runs a nonprofit that's looking for a cure for a specific disease, and he said AI is a big part of accelerating scientific research into cures for disease. So that's definitely a part of it. That's one of the upsides. So this is, the balancing act between competing goods and with a recognition towards some of the areas of danger that needs to be had as we think about this and as we watch this arms race, as Frank Diana said, among all the different AI developers.
Real quick, we're learning via Mike Scott. Mike, if you want to jump in here.
Please.
How he was transported from jail, back to the course.
He was
jail. He was in jail.
Prison bus, and he was rolled out of it like Hannibal Lecter.
What happened?
Yeah, he was riding with what's his name, Nick Cage, in the prison bus. No,
Con Air.
Con Air flew him in. Actually, not far away from Valhalla is the owner of the club of Valhalla, Jimmy Kirkendorfer. We're understanding through ESPN that it was Kirkendorfer who picked up Sheffler from jail and gave him a lift to the course where he is right now. On the course.
Oh, this is great.
All right. Boy, I hope he gets his head right by...
the owner of the club picks him up.
I mean, it's unbelievable. Awesome. This is unbelievable. By the way, where's the PGA here in terms of, lording over this event? I've seen their work. They completely take over a course from soup to nuts because I saw them do it at BMW Olympia last year. And so where are these guys?
Surprisingly absent, as was apparently the Golf Channel for an hour and a half. Not even reporting on the arrest. ESPN was and reporting live on that through Jeff Darlington, but apparently the Golf Channel just ignored it for a while.
I'm still looking at this.
I've seen a tweet. A couple of responses. I'm going to create a T-shirt. I can't breathe. Scotty Scheffler. Another.
Oh my gosh!
Another T-shirt. 4 shots. ... under par.
Oh my God!
That's not bad.
That's a good one.
It's not bad.
That's good.
Kevin in Austin, Texas.
On the Sheffler thing, perhaps the cop had some money on it. He wanted to throw him off his game.
Well, exactly. This is what I'm saying. There needs to be an investigation. We've already put together our suspect list, starting with Rory McIlroy, the Saudis, Live Tour. Who else is on that leaderboard that it would probably
Xander
be
Schauffele.
Well, I don't think Xander's an Olympic gold medalist. I don't think he'd stoop that low. I don't think Xander would.
Maybe not. I might protect that 62 on Thursday. Then.
Yeah.
There's definitely some chicanery going on.
There's got to be a conspiracy. Yeah, of course.
And the Aaron Rodgers thing, my plant-based medicine is balanced on nature. I just want you guys to know.
There you go. See? Unsolicited testimonial.
800-246-8751. Go.
I'm curious what AI's response would be to the Jasmine Crockett MTG AOC melee would be. How she would kind of, have comments on that. And the thing is, Jasmine Crockett is what happens when Sam Bankman-Fried uses $2 million to get Jasmine Crockett elected to Congress. So I'm going to use that to transition. Is Illinois, is there any conservative using their resources to identify low-propensity voters to get out and vote in November? I mean, it seems to be that if there's any time to grow the Republican Party would be now. I mean, Trump is making a lot of gains in swing states. Is there an opportunity for that in Illinois?
The Illinois Republican Party is busy working out the details of their co-location with Grindr. So I'm not sure they have time for that. Thanks for the call, Kevin. Appreciate that. John in Bridgeport.
Hey guys, just real quick, a little something for the policemen out there. The Chicago Labor Board ruled in favor of fraternal order police, and that the city must rehire back those police officers that refused to take the vax and were let go or terminated. In addition, they get back pay, in addition to 7% on top of the back pay. So, Lightfoot, I think you owe the police an apology for you being such a hard ass towards them and everything like that. Just saying. Thanks, guys. Have a good weekend.
Very good, John. Yeah, that's good to know. He's had some other developments this week with respect to COVID. Mm-hmm. We had finally we got an admission here. Yet another admission that Tony Fauci lied under oath. Another reason to elect Trump so that Rand Paul can and put Republicans in charge of the Senate so that Rand Paul and the Department of Justice can take a fresh look at Tony Fauci's testimony.
Oh, really?
Because here is the testimony from a former top official at NIH, Lawrence Tabak, on whether or not it was gain-of-function research that NIH was funding.
Dr. Tabak, did NIH fund gain-of-function research at the Wuhan Institute of Virology through Ecco Health?
It depends on your definition of gain-of-function research. If you're speaking about the generic term, yes, we did, but this is research. The generic term is research that goes on in many, many labs around the country. It is not regulated, and the reason it's not regulated is it poses no threat or harm to anybody.
Well, that's all well and good, Dr. Tabak. He was a principal deputy director at NIH, but that is not what Tony Fauci said. Mm-mm. And, by the way, since EcoHealth Alliance was brought up, we also got word this week that EcoHealth Alliance is now, and Peter Daszak, Tony Fauci's good buddy, that was working with he and Francis Collins to suppress the Wuhan lab leak theory. They are now barred from receiving federal funds. Dr. Brad Wenstrup, who's the chairman of the the Select Committee on COVID, had this to say: remember when Daszak testified before his committee a couple weeks back.
Unfortunately, Dr. Daszak's problematic behavior is not limited to his less than fulsome cooperation or the risky research that he conducted. Recently released documents display Dr. Daszak communicating with Dr. David Morens, who was senior advisor to then NIAID director Dr. Fauci, and doing so through private channels to avoid FOIA, Freedom of Information Act. Dr. Daszak and Dr. Morens shared information, ideas, and strategies about how to best proceed to reobtain funding for this risky research after Dr. Michael Lauer had terminated Dr. Daszak's grant. Dr. Morens provided Dr. Daszak with internal NIH deliberations and discussions concerning the suspension of EcoHealth's grant, along with assurances that Dr. Fauci and NIAID would seek to mitigate the damage done to EcoHealth. On April 16, 2024, I announced a subpoena to Dr. Morens for documents in his email relating to the origins of COVID-19. Yesterday, Dr. Morens produced 30,000 pages of emails. Emails from his Gmail account, which he said he had used to avoid FOIA. So this investigation does not end today. Dr. Daszak told Dr. Morens in these private communications that he still had 15,000 samples, quote, in freezers in Wuhan, end quote, and had not yet analyzed more than 700 coronaviruses he had identified in those samples. EcoHealth has lamented, quote, the negative impact on U.S. national security, end quote, posed by their inability to sequence all the samples at the WIV. But EcoHealth's actions themselves are a threat to national security. Dr. Daszak has displayed a disregard for the risks associated with gain-of-function research, the congressional oversight process, and the federal grant process. Dr. Daszak has proven that he's not a responsible steward of the American people's tax dollars. We see no reason that the American people should be paying for EcoHealth's research or any other work Dr. Daszak conducts.
Mm-hmm. So the reckoning is coming a lot slower than we all hope, I believe. But it's coming a little bit at a time. And again, depending on what happens in November, maybe we can get a little bit more in 2025. Michael, Arlington Heights.
Hey, is I Can't Breathe now going to be replaced with I Can't Golf? I Can't Golf while
That's good.
getting arrested?
Yeah, that's good. Thanks for the call, Michael. I Can't Golf T-shirts with Scotty Sheffler in cuffs. Got an email from Bill. Mm-hmm. Heard while he's in jail he got a hole in one.
Oh my God, you guys, this is so bad. I mean, we could tell these golf jokes all day and all weekend. The memes are going to be flying.
And I could listen to them all day.
I know, we will be.
It's like MacGyver with penis jokes.
Okay.
Ralph in Rantoul. MacGruber, actually.
Hey, good morning, people. Two things. Number one, I need to see the body cam footage because, like, soon, not weeks like today, because I need to know what to bet. I need to know what kind of fight is in the guy so that I know what his chances are. You know, if he put up a good fight, then maybe I'll bet more. If he just kind of went along with the cop, maybe less, right? Secondly, I think we need to establish a pro golfer police, like, body cam review board, because if golfers are going to have increased interactions with the police, I think we need our own separate body to discern whether or not there's an actual offense, whether it was a good fit or a bad fit. It's kind of like they do good shot or bad shot with reviewing cop footage. I just think that will help improve the golf police community interaction overall.
Very good, Ralph. Thanks for the call. By the way, it's been mentioned, I think my friend Barry Cronin mentioned this, who writes this CDGA magazine and longtime sports reporter. You know, when Rory was running late for his tee time at Medina,
yeah,
the Suburban police here in Chicagoland gave him a police escort.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, police, and that's the way it should be. And by the way, that's where he met his wife, who he's now divorcing. She was like a staffer for the PGA. Or
oh my! How everything has come full circle.
Right.
Interesting.
So maybe that's where Rory got the idea to sideline Sheffler. This is just supposition. I don't know that to be true. I'm just suspicious. Also, did I say, somebody said the PGA Tour? Well, I know the PGA Tour, it's the PGA of America that has dominion over the tournament. That's the governing body, but they run the PGA and they run the Ryder Cup. It's sort of the distinction without a difference. I mean, the point is that where was the PGA, were the responsible parties, where were they in terms of managing all of this, particularly with an unexpected circumstance of a traffic accident that backed up traffic and created a bottleneck at the entrance of the club, or the players' entrance of the club, whichever it was. Don in Orland Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
How you doing? Me and my guys been waiting for this for years. We're heading out to Oak Brook. We're going to sit out in front of Tommy Bahama, and we're going to protest until they meet our one and only demand, which is that they have a buy one, get one half off sale. And then
that seems reasonable.
I would get one.
You put together a negotiating team. This is what the protest will look like. Instead of a bunch of filthy hippies and model Hamas kids, it'll be, guys in proper golf attire, having a cigar, shooting the breeze, maybe having an adult spirit, and making reasonable demands like a reasonably priced additional golf attire. And golf clapping, polite golf clapping.
He's got a capital. That mug shot of his, that's as impressive as Trump's is, But it's even more impressive that they got him out of his golf clothes into the orange jumper. Then he got back into his golf clothes, and then he got escorted back to the tournament. He's on the course right now.
He's the outlaw pro. He's like the Johnny Cash of golf now. He should start wearing all black. Jack in Northwest Indiana.
Dan, Amy, good morning. So, we all know that we live in a hyper-regulated world here where each and every part of our daily lives is impacted by the most ridiculous of regulations, but at least we're not the EU. I came across an article that says this summer, when you open up your little plastic bottle of Coke or Pepsi, the cap has to be attached. There's a little hinge that has to be attached because they're concerned that the caps themselves would not be recycled. So, of course, what could go wrong? On top of the $8 billion that they need to spend to retool machinery to create this contraption, there are viral videos going around of people cutting their cheek, of popping spilled all over their chin. So, of course, the members in Brussels, the Mensa Club members, instead of focusing on, like, population growth instead of focusing on, what's going on in Ukraine, instead of focusing on other big picture issues. These guys are doing like Madame Curie type stuff, and they want to solve what happens to a little cap. But at least we don't have that yet here, so enjoy your summer with your Coke, because it could be the last time that you see that, because by next year, I'm sure that regulation will be here.
Thanks for the call, Jack. Bob in Buffalo Grove.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Always good talking to you. I want to change the topic. You were discussing the planned protest at the DNC. What about canceling the DNC? Yesterday I was watching the 5, and they played a soundbite of Brett. They played a soundbite of Brett Baer interviewing Congressman Dean Phillips, and Dean Phillips said, "Let's cancel the DNC." Protesting.
Yeah, let's cancel the DNC and move it to Minneapolis. That's what Dean Phillips probably said. Thanks for the call, Bob. It sounds like you don't have confidence in Brandon Johnson and the administration and Jelly Belly to run a proper convention. I mean, where would that lack of confidence come from? I don't know. By the way, it was interesting. Cranes had a poll out, the anti-business business magazine, pro-rent seeking, anti-entrepreneur. BLM Brandon, upside down, 27-57 approval.
Oof.
But you know what that says?
What?
It's perfect Chicago. It's Livy, right? We talked about it with VDH last week. We're at a position now in Chicago, in the West in general, we can tolerate neither our ills nor their cures. Right. We can't tolerate Brandon Johnson, just like we couldn't tolerate Lori Lightfoot. And what did we do with Lori Lightfoot? We replaced her with Brandon Johnson. What do we do with Brandon Johnson? Maybe replace him with someone yet worse, Stacey Davis Gates. Chuck and Delavan, close us out, Chuck.
Hey, how you doing, Dan? Thanks for mentioning my garage band, always pimping me. Lake Geneva murals tomorrow. Everybody get downtown Lake Geneva. It's a big day. There's 10 artists. They're going to be painting murals all up and down downtown. My favorite artist is Chris Sharp. He's doing a big Dungeons and Dragons mural because they invented Dungeons and Dragons out here by a guy by the name of Gary Gagas. Hey, I'll be at the flea market in Elkhorn to get my signatures. I need 2,000. And I'm 30 short right now. So I'll see you Sunday afternoon. Everybody, thank you for the listeners coming out and signing my petitions. And thank you for letting me use your airwaves to do it. You guys have a great weekend.
You too, Chuck. Thank you.
Chuck. Thanks to Justin Kosick. Quinn McCarthy, have a wonderful weekend. It is now 9 a.m. WIND Chicago.
It's not the kind of driving Scotty Sheffler's famous for. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The world's #1 ranked golfer was arrested this morning in Louisville, Kentucky, charged with reckless driving and more.
He's going to jail, and it ain't nothing you can do about it.
That's video shot by ESPN reporter Jeff Darlington. But Sheffler has been released and will soon tee off at the PGA Championship. He got in trouble earlier near the scene of a deadly accident when a shuttle bus hit a pedestrian near the Valhalla Golf Club.
Sheffler, according to ESPN, tried to drive around what he believed was a security vehicle that turned out to be a police car. ESPN reports that after Sheffler stopped his vehicle, the officer grabbed at Sheffler's arm and tried to get him out of his vehicle before Sheffler opened the door and was pulled out and shoved against the car and placed in handcuffs.
Fox's Jared Max also reports Sheffler was
charged with assault of a police officer, criminal mischief, reckless driving, and disregard